placing them bets, you know that stage is set. You better buckle up, cause you ain't seen none yet. I used to find clues too when I was high on shrooms. I found myself a tunnel that led to Jason Q's bedroom. Opened his closet, I found some of his meat rockets. I strapped them to my shoes and then I flew through the roof. I found myself in orbit strapped to an F-16. High on amphetamine, with Trump in between. Put on a light coat of baby oil and saluted the troops. He tapped me on the shoulder and said, "This is gonna be it." Whoa, wait. Stop. What? I'll get my files. Wait, what are you doing? Stop. Hold on. Fucking stop. Dude, come on. Seriously. My mom's an alcoholic. Oh, give me a... Oh, my God. Damn it. Here we go, I think I started some shit. Piss them off, it's about to get lit. Get the place in them bets, you know that stage is set. You better buckle up, cause you ain't seen none yet. Here we go, I think I started some shit. Piss them off, it's about to get lit. Get the place in them bets, you know that stage is set. You better buckle up, cause you ain't seen none yet. Round 3. Down goes Nino. Please say it isn't so. Got him backed up on the ropes, trying to ram it down his throat. Now things are getting rocking, he was doing so well. It's all over, hands on his shoulders, they ringing his bell. You got Frog News Network doing no damn research. They rework and copy on Cox that came first. 9th inning, second string, and they acting like they know hitters. Assholes throwing bullshit, sending runs to the shitter. All this nonsense on my conscience, it's hard to sleep at night. Who the fuck is in my window with this time of the night? These parasites, these leeches, with all their secret meetings, teaching all you fucking cretins about baby-eating heathens. Believing in reason with no meaning is bullshit. Will Bird motherfuckers out here busting the grifts. Here we go, I think I started some shit. Piss them off, it's about to get lit. Get the place in them bets, you know that stage is set. You better buckle up, cause you ain't seen none yet. Here we go, I think I started some shit. Piss them off, it's about to get lit. Get the place in them bets, you know that stage is set. You better buckle up, cause you ain't seen none yet.
You don't have those guts, cause you're a pussy. You're a pussy wearing aviator glasses in your mother's basement, and I won't even give out your dime store handle, because that's really pathetic. But I can tell you this about if this douchebag happens to see this particular show, you don't have the forking balls to call out the people on this planet by name and tell them exactly who they are and tell them the rest of the world who they are. You don't have the forking balls. You don't have the balls.
Okay, Scott. Here we go, I think I started some shit. Piss them off, it's about to get lit. Get the place in them bets, you know that stage is set. You better buckle up, cause you ain't seen none yet. Here we go, I think I started some shit. Piss them off, it's about to get lit. Get the place in them bets, you know that stage is set. You better buckle up, cause you ain't seen none yet. And they say that I'm a lunatic. Well listen bitch, I came equipped with a quick wit and a 6th sense for the stupid shit. Where my true believers? Y'all need Jesus. Praise the Lord, head to the extreme. All these false fucking prophets who profit off of gossip, worshiping Trump's cock and begging for a throat deposit, swinging fucking meat hammers like Thor in a thong. He's strapped to the shaft, eating his chest like he's King Kong. Starving for attention, I'ma make your gut burst. I'll be your Huckleberry, I can quench that thirst. Baby eating lizard people, alien sex. What's next? Trump in a dress, fucking Flynn on his desk. A retard in a vest, climbing up 5G towers.
Hey, what's up, guys?
He get fucking superpowers. Here we go, I think I started some shit. Piss them off, it's about to get lit. Get the
Welcome, everybody.
you know that stage is set. You better buckle up, cause you ain't seen none yet. Here we go, I think I started some shit. Piss them off, it's about to get lit. Get the place in them bets, you know that stage is set. You better buckle up, cause you ain't seen none yet. I used to find clues too when I was high on shrooms. I found myself a tunnel that led to Jason Q's bedroom. Opened his closet, I found some of his meat rockets. I strapped them to my shoes and then I flew through the roof. I found myself in orbit strapped to an F-16. High on amphetamine, with Trump in between. Put on a light coat of baby oil and saluted the troops. He tapped me on the shoulder and said, "This is gonna be it." Wait. Stop. What? I'll get my files. Wait, what are you doing? Stop. Hold on. Fucking stop. Dude, come on. Seriously. My mom's an alcoholic. Oh, give me a...
Good deal, Deb. That if you got yours today, a lot of people should be getting theirs today, so Hopefully that works out for you. I'm glad you got it.
Get the place in them bets, you know.
Was everything okay with it? Decent quality, nothing wrong or anything? We haven't had any complaints yet, just making sure.
I think I started some shit. Piss them off, it's about to get lit. Get the place in them bets, you know that stage is set. You better buckle up, cause you ain't seen none yet. Round 3. Down goes Nino. Please say it isn't so. Got him backed up on the ropes, trying to ram it down his throat. Now things are getting rocking, he was doing so well. It's all over, hands on his shoulders, they ringing his bell. You got Frog News Network doing no damn research. They rework and copy on Cox that came first. 9th inning, second string, and they acting like they know hitters. Assholes throwing bullshit shit.
Good deal. Good deal.
Nonsense on my conscience, it's hard to sleep at night. Who the fuck?
Glad you enjoy it.
This time of the night, these parasites, these leeches, with all their secret meetings, teaching all you fucking cretins about baby eating heathens. Believing in reasons with no meaning is bullshit. Will Bird, motherfuckers out here busting the grifts. Here we go, I think.
The intro music will be up soon, completely for free. We just asked that you play it on his channel or his Spotify or his iTunes, wherever you get it. It's going to be free, but just so he gets the views or the listens, that'll benefit him as an artist. It'll be just a little bit, and we'll have it up for free, and I'll let people know when it's up. But thank you for asking.
You're a pussy. You're a pussy wearing aviator glasses in your mother's basement, and I won't even give out your dime store handle because that's really pathetic.
Welcome, everybody. Thanks for joining us. Give me a couple more minutes to get everything set up. I'm going to grab a drink. I think Mariah's going to take a nap right quick. She didn't sleep well, and I'll be right back.
If this douchebag happens to see this particular show, you don't have the fork and balls to call out the people on this.
Brandishing a handgun, swinging a tomahawk.
Tell them exactly who they are and tell them the rest of the world who they are. You don't have the fork and balls. You don't have the balls.
Okay, Scott. Here we go, I think I started some shit. Piss them off, it's about to get lit. Get the place in them bets, you know that stage is set. You better buckle up, cause you ain't seen none yet. Here we go, I think I started some shit. Piss them off, it's about to get lit. Get the place in them bets, you know that stage is set. You better buckle up, cause you ain't seen none yet. And they say that I'm a lunatic. Well, listen, bitch, I came equipped with a quick wit and a 6th sense for the stupid shit. Where my true believer? Y'all need Jesus. Praise the Lord, head to the extreme. All these
Linwood sacrificed him to the Illuminati.
worshiping.
And all Brad could say on the way down was, but why? Why, Lynn?
Strapped to the shaft, eating.
I thought we was sending it to Clay Clark.
I'm gonna make your gut burst. I'll be your Huckleberry. I can quit that thirst. Maybe lizard people, alien sex. What's next? Trump in a dress, fucking Flynn on his desk. A retard in a vest, climbing up 5G towers, cause you told.
Linwood gave a shout out to the frogs. That's the kind of evil you can't wash off.
Here we go, I think I started some shit. Piss them off, it's about to get lit. Get the place in them bets, you know that stage is set. You better buckle up, cause you ain't seen none yet. Here we go, I think I started some shit. Piss them off, it's about to get lit. Get the place in them bets, you know that stage is set. You better buckle up, cause you ain't seen none yet. I used to find clues too when I was high on shrooms. I found myself a tunnel that led to Jason Q's bedroom. Open his closet, I found some of his meat rockets. I strapped them to my shoes and then I flew through the roof. I found myself in orbit strapped to an F-16. High on amphetamine, with Trump in between. Put on a light coat of baby oil and saluted the troops. He tapped me on the shoulder and
Eddie Jones, thanks for the sub. Sandra Merritt, thanks for the sub. Appreciate it. We're getting started right now, guys.
It's a stop. Hold on. Fucking stop. Dude, come on. It's serious.
Singapore.
My mom's an alcoholic.
So I think Kirsten might have watched last night's episode because originally she left a comment that says, please stop featuring me, concentrate on other people, but she deleted it. Because at the end of it, I said, at the end of the little Kirsten spot, I said, good for you, congratulations. That's the whole reason I even covered Kirsten. I think it was good for you, the breakup, blah, blah, blah. Hope you do well. I got nothing to say about Kirsten, but she put it up there and then she deleted it. But let's get started, guys.
Round 3. Down goes Nino. We say it isn't so. Got him backed up on the ropes, trying to ram it.
Down goes Nino.
Doing so well. It's all over. Hands on his shoulders, they ringing his bell. You got Frog News Network doing no damn research. They rework and copy on Cox that came first. 9th inning, second string.
Welcome everybody. I am Will Bird, and you are tuned in to the Cold Brick Confessional. The new slogan is, "It's a cold world and I'll bring the beer." Anyways, thank you for joining us tonight. We appreciate it. We're going to start it off right with a video, and then we'll do our little housekeeping notes later. But let's go ahead and kick it off with this one. This is, I don't know how this happened, but Simon Parkes got his YouTube channel back. So either one, he was never banned. He just left and made all his videos private. Or two, he has some type of weird YouTube government affiliation, something that got his... People don't get YouTube channels back. They don't. You might make another one, but you don't get your channel back that's got videos posted on it from years ago. Something weird happened. Let's check it out. Love how it starts off. It's like a silent movie. He took himself off. They all do it. Must have.
It's wonderful.
I know Charlie did it. See, well, you can tell if you click on a link and it says this channel has been removed for violation of YouTube's terms of service. Obviously, that's removed. If you click on a channel and there just aren't no videos, or you can't find it anymore, a lot of times that's a sign that that YouTube took it, or that they took it down themselves. Charlie Ward did it because he said his channel got removed from YouTube, but he just removed all of his videos except for the ones of his son doing ballet. That wouldn't have worked. YouTube would have removed them all. That's how they remove a channel. They remove everything. They don't look for your son doing ballet and they're like, oh, you can keep that one.
Awake America tour. Please.
The Awake America tour. We want to shout out to Sriracha and Scott over on the Awake America tour. You got both words wrong, Simon. Arise, Patriots.
Tell us how you're getting on.
Well, Scott, after you. It's essentially your tour. I'm your
It's your
guest.
tour, Scott. You do it. I don't want to be associated with this shit.
Everything is on the run today, Simon. You can see my buses in the background. I had to get my bike off the hauler today, and the dead battery again because the alarm system kind of starts flashing
Some nice old lady stopped and showed me how to jump it off again.
with motion. Seems I got to do it every time I roll the bike off. Had to rip it out through the canyon before I caught you guys to try to charge that battery.
By the way, guys, if you missed, I put it in the Discord and the I put it in the Discord and I put it in the Telegram. I think the name of their channel is hold on. Is it Shilltel? Like Shill Intel? Shilltel? I subscribe to it. Yeah, the Shilltel Club. I shared this today. This is some of the members of like M's community. It's got Justice on it, Lightworker Lady, some other people. They're playing Sachet, Tom Numbnuts, Dr. Fraud, and Lyman Sharks. And they have a full Intel meeting that is over an hour long. If you missed that video, go check it out. It's pretty awesome. But wait till you're done watching mine. Don't leave now. I need the views because I didn't want to say this, but Mariah's a gold digger, okay? So we gotta keep the numbers up. We gotta keep the donations rolling in. We gotta hit that GoFundMe up. Daddy needs a new pair of shoes, huh?
A little bit. So I come rolling back in. I'm sweating. I got my ball cap on. I couldn't change it.
So hold on, I didn't mean to do that. So someone just said the easiest fucking solution. Take your key fob, and when you're in motion, when you're fixing to pull out on the trailer, turn off the alarm. I understand if you're going to have it parked in a parking lot overnight because you're staying in a hotel instead of sleeping on the bus, which it was designed for. Fine, set the alarm because somebody might cut the lock on the trailer and take it. But if you're traveling down the road, just turn the alarm off. It comes with a fob and everything. Not to mention there's a switch position where you can go to no off but no alarm. On every newer Harley I've ever been on, there's a switch position to turn it off. But he lets the alarm run all day until it flashes the lights, kills his battery over the process of 2 or 3 days, and then he tries to flag down older women who find him irresistible to show him how to work the posts.
My Sunday shirt for you guys, so I got a sweaty T-shirt on. This is how the tour is rolling. It's how the tour rolls.
Yeah, when it's in the trailer, he keeps the alarm on. He's an idiot.
Parked here at Red Rock.
They couldn't even figure out how to strap it down. I don't think he's going to figure out how to turn the alarm off.
And of course, it is a billboard. It always draws attention. So folks are coming over, and it's really fun because the people are, I've always had a heart for humanity and, of course, America.
So the only thing I'll give them again is if it is parked in like the back of a hotel and it's hard to see or whatever, I have seen people come up and cut trailer locks and roll shit off trailers. I actually saw a race car get stolen one time. Well, I didn't see the act of it getting stolen. I was running with a crew that had a race car, a dirt race car. They parked it on an enclosed trailer. We went in the hotel room and slept for the night. We still had like another 3 hours to get to the race. We're supposed to get up early in the morning, come out. Both the locks were cut off the enclosed trailer. Then not only did they roll out that dirt track car, but they rolled out 2 Snap-on boxes with it. And I guess rolled it onto like a car dolly or put it in a pickup truck or something. So I'll give him that. But if someone steals that son of a bitch at 70 miles an hour going down the interstate, they deserve it. I would just let them have it, because that's a bad motherfucker that I don't want to fuck with. If they can get in a trailer, Joel Mizell, about you 5 6-packs. Thank you very much, Joel. I appreciate it. If they can mount a trailer, cut the locks, open the door, get in the trailer, hotwire the bike, and drive it off that son of a bitch at 70 miles an hour going down the interstate, you can have it. I am not going to fuck with the level of ass whooping that you plan on hanging out or handing out once I chase you down. I'm not okay with it.
But until you really get out in Heartland or anywhere, and these people walk up to you and they want to have conversation, dialogue, they're excited about what you're doing. They're excited that Sasha's in this country, bringing the high level spirituality to this nation. And someone like Lee Dundas is away from her child, her daughter, who's a teenager, for extended periods of time, weeks at a time. They're so appreciative that we're doing this, and to them, it's a major impact in their lives. And to watch this, people communicate their heart and soul through their eyes. So the words are obviously there, but their eyes, when they look in their eyes, they're bright. They're oftentimes watery. They're impacted with emotion that we're out here and to get a chance to actually.
They're watery. They're wet. They're impacted with emotion. They want me inside them. They're an older breed of female soldiers.
Come and meet with us. It is
strange.
It is truly, I've had great experiences in my life.
Scott, how knowledgeable are the people that you're meeting? Are they people who've been fully aware of everything, or are you drawing new?
Here's what I would have been willing to do. Had Scott hopped on his motorcycle and rode it stop to stop, leading his own tour bus, I would have at least gave him the credit of, look, he clearly rides a lot. If you're able to ride that much, you got some determination. You're used to riding a lot. You don't get off there looking like a cowboy that's been riding for 2 weeks. He can't put his legs back together. Or Mariah in high school, same deal. But if he would have rode that, but to trailer it around and take it out almost like a publicity stunt, and to charge up the battery, who
are just understanding what's happening quite recently.
Well, one that comes to mind is a woman who told me that she woke up only a month ago, and she was a Democrat. She
was asleep or in a coma.
Liberal, with that kind of a family. Her family can't understand now why she's pro-Trump, having been on the TDS train at one point. So the fact of the matter is they're waking up every day. And then, of course, we have the ones that are out here that know that there is a very high level operation in the country, in the world, to bring down this satanic power structure. Those people are obviously in mass and are followers, but it's everything
if you don't know it, a bike alarm is much, much, much more sensitive than a car alarm, because a lot of people don't steal bikes. They roll them away and then push them up a ramp. So every time the bike, moves around or they hit a bump or something, it's flashing lights and maybe even blowing the horn. That's what's killing his battery, but he could deactivate that pretty easily.
Spectrum. It truly is.
I'm sorry, guys.
I woke up in the last week, but the last month is soon enough. It's pretty amazing.
That's just great.
I knew the numbers were down some. I just figured people didn't come on because it was late.
Turn up to your stops. We've had
one was here today. I said I gotta run.
One of the connecting con men were there today.
I gotta rip this bike for a minute to charge battery, and I said I gotta get on a show with Sasha Stone, Simon Parks. He goes, "Oh, we're part of his your."
I gotta rip this bike a minute to to rip up the amps in my internal regulated 6-cell battery. What?
It's collective consciousness. She said, we're part of his program. I was like, he's going to love to hear that.
Yeah, no, that's great. Well, we knew it that, that they in the different states were, making an effort to just come and
The box of trailer, Queen.
And some of the
what can you do?
The members there have been very, very supportive. They see it as a very important point. And I'm really glad that some of my members have made the effort where possible to come and see you guys. And we were hoping to come out. We're not going to be able to come out until September, so I think it'll be sort of done and dusted by then. But
I don't, not necessarily, Simon. I think that this is a movement that's starting, and I think it's going to be fairly open-ended. So stick around. I'll come back with you at that time.
Okay. Well, we're out to Florida probably in September for a week.
Terrific.
So we'll just see how you do.
Very good. Very good.
So Sasha, come on now. You've come from Bali, and you've made it to the US. How are you being received?
I've had
Scott's a grifting queen
than I possibly imagined, which is very humbling.
There's another creator, who doesn't like another YouTuber, and he made a little song up called "Grifting Queen." It was actually really funny. I'm not going to use his shit, but it is funny. It's if you guys want to look it up, it's called Pod Awful, and I think he has like a music video cut. If you like put in Pod Awful Grifting Queen, it's made to the music from Dancing Queen. It's a pretty funny video.
On the one hand, and quite redolent of my sort of old days in rock and roll, and when I had a certain kind of recognition in certain circles, and it's just curious to be with Scott McKay and in the middle of United States, quite literally driving in the sort of wastelands past a little hump that says you are now in the dead center of the United States, and you pull up at a crossroad with an old 1940s gas pump and a grocery store. You get out and you're mobbed by people wielding guns who know everything about the ITNJ and the New Earth Project and
the IT and the J, the International Tribunal for Natural Justice,
and street.
No
fighter.
one knows what the fuck. To be honest with you, no one knows what the fuck that is. Okay, the ITNJ, International Tribunal for Natural Justice. I didn't know what the fuck that was. I mean, if someone would have said, "Hey, Sriracha's like hippy dippy fucking thing he does on YouTube," I'd be like, "Yeah." But if they'd have said, "Hey, man, you know what the International Tribunal for Natural Justice is?" I'd be like, "No."
Patriot Street Fighters.
Awesome.
That to
Glad
me
you get your
says
shirt, brother.
Middle America absolutely gets what is real and what is not.
That's where you're wrong, Johnny T. Simon Parks will be the new owner, coordinator, president, leader of all of the brand new healing centers that'll be distributed in the United States after we reach the next dimension that'll be filled with med beds. He is the healing center coordinator, president, Tim Poor, whatever you want. He'll probably give himself something, the admiral, I don't know. The general, maybe Scott will name him. Who knows?
Not real. They're understanding the distinction between the living.
Hey, Sriracha, who's that coming in?
And the dead, the masked and the unmasked. They've
Went
already
right by you.
worked it out. So, Simon, for me, I could go home to Bali this afternoon and I would absolutely feel as though I'd come and seen what I wanted to see for myself.
Please. I don't care what you're going to say after this. Just please go home. I mean, we got enough trouble here without you running around with your fucking hairless chest and your leather fucking crop tops trying to tell us what we got going on. We got enough of our own shit to deal with, okay? Just please go home.
Interesting.
Which, excuse me, sniffing, I've got a cold. And that is this, that although America has been weaponized more than any nation on earth and systemically poisoned mind, body, and soul, certainly in the last 75 odd years, more than any nation on earth, the quintessence of its humanity, its common decency and kindness, its capacity
He does.
for empathy, its capacity to love.
He has a he has his alien wife is of feline descent. She is a cat queen, and he has one daughter with her. He drives with the filming crew to pick up the appropriate green crayons to draw them so he can show the filming crew what they look like. Now, it's typically he has a daughter. It's a female. Now, it's typically very, very hard to tell between a male and a female, especially a youth, like a child of an alien species. It's usually very hard. Simon ended up being pretty lucky because he ended up, his daughter was actually born with a floating pink bow above her head that just kind of levitates there. So luckily, we don't really have to guess boy or girl. It's the pink bow is a dead giveaway almost every time. Almost every time. He also has an alien mother along with his regular mother, and his alien father, who he never mentions before or after, picked him up one day when he was 5.5 years old, took him to a spaceship in outer space that actually has, it's basically like VR prostitution, and that's how he lost his virginity. I imagine that started on the school playground when he was in middle school, and someone's like, "Hey, I finally got a blowjob." Somebody's like, "Oh, that's bullshit. I've been all the way." Like, and I'm only 14. I've already been all the way. Yeah, blowjob, whatever. And he's like, "I lost my virginity to an alien at 5 years old." And they're like, "Whoa, dude, back off. Easy. Like, that's not bragging. That's repressed memories. I mean, you think your uncle dressed up and came in the middle of the night? Something weird happened.
And be loved. That is all intact in a way that I never imagined possible. But a lot of crippled people, a lot of obese people, a lot of people who are deformed. And I'm looking at it in a very circumspect way from an internationalist point of view. I'm blessed to be living in Southeast Asia. I live a full organic diet. I've never seen a doctor in my life. I don't take pharmaceutical poisons. I don't drink fluoridated water. I don't breathe in geoengineered air.
That makes sense.
Blessed amongst men the way my life has occurred to date. I'm very
I believe
blessed.
that.
And
you seem blessed.
That for me is the sadness that I'm witnessing, is the poisoning of people. But despite it, the humanity is intact. And I'm so excited about that, because that to me means the kingdom of the devil has already been taken down, because the humanity has survived. Now that's going to flourish. That's the fractal harmonic that is going to unfold and create the geometry of the new earth. And I'm very excited about that.
Scott, I understand what a patriot is.
Do you?
And we know that it's not a dirty word.
Well, you're not patriots, so I wouldn't even use that word for you.
To the converted, or are you actually drawing people to you who are what I would just call are just middle Americans, ordinary people who are beginning to realize that the story that they've been
dirty
told,
word
is a lie? Are you actually reaching out? Because this is about waking people up, isn't it? That's the whole point of what you're doing.
Yeah, there's no question. Absolutely no question. People wonder how, I've heard this a number of times since we started to get some exposure, and like how did you come out of nowhere like a meteor? How's that possible? How do you in 3 months go from 0 on YouTube, from one live stream that went nuclear, to 3 months later 150,000 subscribers, and shut down on channels 15 times or 14 times and keep coming back because I refuse to leave the battlefield? I'm going to keep pounding away at these scumbag criminals in big tech. What people have seen, and
all right, got your shirt. Yes, sir.
Simply, and in the symptoms of America under the surface of their angst, and that's this. We all know what's going on. We've always believed to a certain degree that the criminal empire, politicians, the political class, the international bankers, big pharma, big tech, all these people are working for our best interests, humanities. And we've watched this decay happen over 15 years. And that's what drew me out. 30 years of doing the research and going down the rabbit holes, working in elected politics for 16 years, walking away when I realized the system was corrupt. I had no interest in getting to the United States Senate at that point, sitting on the sidelines for 9 years, just watching the chaos, watching Trump announce for the presidency, watching how he went after the criminals. I finally just said, we found them. This is it. I got back in not elected politics, but at least with my voice to a small degree. And then I backed away when Trump won, and then watched the chaos, realized, you know what, this isn't enough. It's not enough Trump coming in here and taking the war to the deep state and the cabal powers, the Khazarian Rothschild bankers. It's not enough. And when
the Rothschild bankers, that makes sense.
Of Antifa and BLM, that's when I blew a gasket. That's when I got pissed off. That's when I created the tipping point on Revolution Radio a year ago, January. And I decided I'm launching a full-scale war. These people that are part of the ruling class, not the governing class, the ruling class, they're mistaken by what they thought their mandate was. I went after them, all of them, Bushes, Cheneys, Rothschilds, central bankers, the British Crown, all the royal crown families, the Vatican, and I just came out with all guns blazing. Look, these people are criminals. They're pedophiles. They're rapists. They're murderers. They're traffickers. They're adrenochrome harvesters. These people are the scum of the earth. And since I went after them like that way, I shocked myself. I'm like, what the hell am I doing? Like, am I going to get thrown off Revolution Radio? Are people going to hate me? The next week, I'm going to tone it down. I can't. Next week, I'm going to tone it down. I can't. Revolution Radio said, keep that AC-130 gunship wrecking this architecture, because that's why we exist. Then I did a live stream. It went nuclear. I couldn't contain myself. I thought, holy Mary, Mother of God, these people that are coming to this channel, coming to this movement, guess what? All I did was kick the hornet's nest. I did nothing but kick the hornet's nest. And you know what's happening? Mm-hmm. The hornets are flying around. They're pissed off. They're Patriot Street Fighters, and they want to go out and sting everybody.
That's not a good thing. Your followers are hornets. You kicked their nest. Instead of attacking you, they just go out and attack everyone. They just want to attack everyone.
I did a live stream. It went nuclear. I couldn't contain myself. I thought, holy Mary, Mother of God, these people that are coming to this channel, coming to this movement, guess what? All I did was kick the hornet's nest. I did nothing but kick the hornet's nest. And you know what's happening? Mm-hmm. The hornets are flying around. They're pissed off. They're Patriot Street Fighters, and they want to go out and sting everybody that's kicking the hornet's nest now, which is all the cabal powers. So is it?
Good deal. I watched, we talked in the comments. I was going to say I watched one of your videos, Conspiracy Killer. Got one coming out tomorrow and just had one put up maybe yesterday, day before. I watched your video. It was pretty good.
Is it average everyday people?
With Scott on stage?
Absolutely. They were always there and pissed off. And now from 40 countries around the world, I'm getting emails. Most of these say, Scott, I'm a Patriot Street.
See, the problem is he talks about his following as if it is an army that is going to take over the world. When you actually see his following, it's an older group of people, most of them females, who have a clear love interest towards Scott, and the males that I seem to find following him are far beyond fighting age. So he does have a following. It is big, but it's not. I mean, unless everything is wheelchair and walker accessible, nobody's going to be there, including Scott. Hell, he couldn't even walk through the airport.
Fighter. Scott, I'm from Slovakia. I'm a Patriot Street Fighter. Scott, I'm from Australia. I'm a Patriot Street Fighter. Canada, New Zealand, Croatia. Go down through Bangladesh. Go down through the list. You know what that tells me? These people in all these countries, including ours, are sick and tired of this cabal power class wrecking humanity when there's so much wealth.
I mean, even when we're talking about immigration, like unchecked immigration or refugees, Scott's Scott's group is above the people that we count as, fighting age. We usually go from like, I don't know, 16, 17 to like 35, 40. We're talking another 15, 20 years on top of Scott's average fan. And that might even be the low end.
On this planet, everybody could be free, living like a millionaire, healthy, happy, and it's not that way because of what they have done. So yes, they believe it. They believe it. They know
Scott, Monday is Flag Day.
I heard Australia had actually went through the dimensional wormhole, and it's now not even down under. It's up above. From now on, when you refer to Australia, after it's passed through the fifth dimensional wormhole and become the new top of the planet, it's not even the land from down under. It's the land up above. And I would appreciate it if everybody would refer to it from that and from now on. Their toilets actually flush in the opposite direction. Birds fall out of the sky and burrow under the ground and swim in the water. Fish just levitating, floating away into outer space. I'm just glad to see somebody ascended. If it wasn't going to be us first, the land from up above deserved it.
President Trump's birthday. What might happen, do you think?
Okay. I mean, you're going to try to lure me into that too. Huh? No way. I'm just sitting here watching the greatest show on earth. Nobody's ever been able to beat me up, although they do. Beat me up for landing on a date, landing what's going to happen. I just say,
Well, you've said a lot of things are going to happen.
You know what? Patriots are in control. They're controlling both sides. They're pulling the strings of their ventriloquist dummies on the left.
Yeah, no one's going to stop my truth. Thank you for the people. That's who really did it, the people. I heard every politician in Australia drop dead at the stroke of midnight, just because Khazarian mafia, cartel, mob, cabal, mean people.
Waking the people up, and there's a major ass kicking headed for the enemy. That's all I can tell you.
Thanks for the sub,
I'm going to say,
John.
The actor Biden is in United Kingdom at the moment, apparently.
Well, just as well, because I didn't much fancy being on sharing the same soil, so that's a good thing.
So what?
Oh, it's the well-regarded Revolutionary War Unit, the Menopause Men, instead of the Minutemen.
What's been the message, do you think, that you've picked up from the people? You know, where are they? Are they strong? Are they confident? The people
Hugely so. Hugely so, Simon. There is no timorousness. There is not a shred of timorousness or weakness or vulnerability or, wait for it, victimhood. That is no longer the paradigm. We've already begun that a transmutative process where people are moving fully away from victimhood and into some form of sovereignty and consciousness, and more than that, consciousness in action. And that's what a tour like this, like the one that Scott and Lee have begun, that I'm tagging on with, that is proving out the consciousness in action bit, because when people are jumping on planes and driving their pickup trucks 6 hours,
he has a swipe reader installed in his cell phone as well as in his motorcycle and the side of his bus. You just go by and just swipe your card. You don't select an amount, it just empties. It's like, would you like to make a withdrawal? And then this is all the computer. You just swipe it and the computer says, oh, we want to make a withdrawal. And then the computer thinks, well, how much should we take? And it just says yes, all of it.
Staying overnight in a motel in order to catch 8 minutes of Scott McKay and his he made me promise I'd never call it a
Simon Parkes does paid exorcisms of demonic space demons. Simon Parkes has what can only be described as a menu on his website, and one of the services he offers for an amount of money is exorcisms of demonic space demons. All true.
Hatchet. It's a tomahawk. and to see me wheezing for 3.5 minutes to just meet and greet, and Lee Dundas, doing her bit. It's not as though we're delivering lectures or landmark, symposiums, Simon. We're jumping on flatbed trucks, with cowboys behind us and speaking for a few minutes and just acknowledging the crowd that is acknowledging.
We just jump on a flatbed truck with a cowboy there. 2 of them told me, we don't like your kind around here. But then they realized that I was with McKay the Meat Hammer and all was well again.
acknowledging us, acknowledging them.
Yeah.
That is almost a wordless phenomenon that is carrying the day. And God, it's so beautiful.
No, it's wonderful to hear. Scott, you probably don't know, but some 7 or 8 years ago, I said that America was where the battle had to be fought. And that is what's occurring. And I've always been a very strong supporter of the US, and I do believe that the future of the world and humanity hangs on the outcome in the US. That's why it's so pivotal and very important.
Mm.
And I agree 100%. And the simple fact, at least from a philosophical standpoint, I believe you're absolutely right, is this: America's freedom has been rooted in our DNA since, of course, the revolution.
That's not my song. That's Convoy. You guys don't remember Convoy? So dark of the moon on a 6th of June in a Kenworth hauling logs, with a cab over Pete and a reefer on and a Jimmy hauling hogs.
And I hate to say it, but there's somewhat of some people don't like I use
Convoy.
about us and our freedom, because we just believe it's ours, period. And even though other places around the world don't, or at least didn't have the freedoms we once had, we believe that we've earned it and it's ours and it makes us unique. Now, here's the thing.
Wow, there's a lot of people here. I started late, too. What's up? We's headed for Bear on I-10 about a mile out of Shaky Town. I said, Pigpen, this here's a rubber duck, and I'm about to put the hammer down.
Thing
It's
is
a famous song. I heard it when I was little.
It is not unique to Americans.
My
It's
dad was a
unique to
truck
humanity.
driver.
And the fact of the matter
Really before I was
is
born,
that
but
the world
still.
has watched how viciously Americans and their soldiers would fight wars around the world on the
Hey,
false.
look. There are people out there that need their name and their face on a bus and possibly a trailer to carry their bike that also has their name and face on it. Trailer and bike both. Now, there are those people out there. I'm one of them, but the other ones are running around here like crazy, acting like they need your money, okay?
Yes.
That it was about freedom, not the truth, that it was for the
Rubber
international
Scott.
bankers that have these incredibly highly trained
Here's the meat hammer slammer, and I'm about to put the hammer down.
operators that, as one
I'm about to put the meat hammer down. This here Scooter, and I'm about to put the meat hammer down.
told me, Navy SEAL said, I feel like I was a professional door kicker for the bankers. But the thought, the intent with which they
That's exactly right. People would be like, oh my God, what is this, the resurrection? No, it's just Scott McKay. You don't see how he's replaced his penis with a giant tomahawk that says puff on this peace pipe? Of course, that's Scott McKay.
went to war zones and committed unbelievably heroic acts on behalf of either freeing a nation or
Thanks for the sub.
keeping America free. It's not the reason behind it why they did it. It was their intent. So because of
They're
that,
probably just all here to report to the
American
Froggets.
DNA is-
They're like, you wouldn't believe it. He's talking about Scott. Remember the guy you made up the rumor that he was arrested? He's talking about that guy and some lady named Sriracha.
especially the war fighter, the rest of the world is watching us to see how hard and viciously we, the people, will fight to regain and preserve our own freedom. And they look at Americans and say, if these people aren't willing to fight, what's the rest of the world going to do? So, we're blessed to be in a leadership position, but that comes with an amazing burden, not just military leadership, political, but that we, the people, have a burden as the leaders of freedom among society around the world, that we have to step up and fight. So I tell people all the time, look, folks, you have to get
Look,
in.
folks.
That's what the Patriot Street Fighter.
Look, folks. I spent 6 months telling you to stay the fuck out of the way. It's already won. The Patriots are in charge. In fact, during this very interview, twice now I've said the Patriots are in charge and we have nothing to worry about. But now I'm saying, look, folks, you got to get in the fight. You got to get in this fight. Get up off the couch, you lazy piece of shit. And later on in the interview, I'll probably say, hey, we've already won this. The Patriots are in control. No one needs to worry. Sit down and watch he just said it in this interview, the greatest movie on earth. This is so much mixed communication. Do we need to stand up? Do we need to sit down? Should I bring my couch with me? Am I going to get out there, stood up, and then you tell me to sit down? Because I don't want to keep commuting.
Moving is about getting in the fight, getting American citizens off the couch, out of the house, school board meetings, city council meetings, anywhere where the political class, the scumbag class operates, because they're the ones that have destroyed society. Getting in the fight to get in front of them because they've never had opposition.
They're probably over there beating off dudes with both hands, trying to keep them away from Scott. Oh, I can't believe it. They're posted up at every corner of the bus, just beating guys off and away and down and into their mouth. I can't believe he isn't being ransacked, run over. This is the day he was supposed to be. This is the day he was supposed to be sitting in the parking lot with his bus, available to meet anybody. Anybody can show up, free of charge. It's just going to be me, and they're going to come, and Robert David Steele, I'm still grifting him and making him pull his face off my bus, because why not? I'll be here all day. Looks pretty busy back through there. I did see a bird fly through earlier.
They walk in by default, they control the system, and then they wreck society. So for us to...
I'm just saying, you've seen a Warhammer. Now imagine a Warhammer with a side of beef attached to the top of it. Now you got a meat hammer, okay? A very deadly weapon. I think a meat hammer beats a tomahawk. 99 times out of 100, probably. Maybe 100 times out of 100. Tomahawk. Especially if he's got that stupid fucking bowl on the back of it where you're smoking out of it. Just get a corncob pop.
To show the rest of the world that we are Americans. Reagan said it best. We have every right to dream heroic dreams. After all, we are Americans. And this is where Americans have to stand up, push back on the criminal class, bring them down. So now we can turn our focus on our brothers and sisters around the world and say, okay, now we did it here. Here's how we did it. Enough of their bullshit. Your heads of state, the criminals, the religious order, all these people. Here's how you go after them. And we're now going to help you because we have the time and the effort or the assets to come and bring this to you because we are going to free this planet. I tell parents, don't worry about whether or not we're going to win or not.
Hey, listen, Scott's got good advice about spending your money. He told his fans the other day, even if you can't make it to these conferences and these shows, just buy a ticket. Just buy, even though you know for a fact you cannot be here. You're going to be out of the country. You're paralyzed and you haven't got to your med bed yet. You're part of the reevaluation and you've got to go count all the dinar. Whatever your excuse might be, still just buy a ticket. Why? Because we need your money, folks. We need your money. Exactly. I think what Scott's going to do is he's going to try to do a decent job of filling out when the tide changes. He's going to try to roll from, we got to do this, we got to do that, we're in charge, to, hey, look, it didn't happen the way we wanted, but we still got a lot of stuff right. We still fixed this, we still fixed that, and we're still fighting for you. But if you want to continue that fight, you're going to have to make me your congressman. We'll see how that works out.
We've already won. They have never been flat on their back before. Now we just have to finish them off, put the fire out, bury these criminals, and move on with the ascension.
Why are they on fire? You got to finish the fight and then put out the fire. Do you set your enemies on fire before the fight? That doesn't seem like a fair fight. If he's like stop, dropping, and rolling, trying to put out the flames, and I'm just beating on him, is that really a fair fight?
Let me jump in here, if I may, Scott, because an important aspect to this is what took place yesterday, Simon. I mean, I was very blessed and very honored to bring together Scott McKay and U.S. Postmaster General and Federal Judge Proper Russell J. Gould for an extraordinary meeting of minds.
He's kind of a lemon. You could probably get him under that.
It will be released shortly. Now, that for me was an alchemization moment, because when you've got the Patriot Street Fighter, the visceral fire amongst the people who are ready to pick up pots and pans if necessary to protect themselves and their babies and their own DNA. This is a very needful thing.
Someone called him, someone on Twitter, Scott posted, let's see if I can find it right quick. Twitter.com. Twitter.com. Let's see. He is S.A. McKay. And then I think it's 3. S.A. McKay 3. Oh, there he is. Not Scott Baio. Scott McKay. And then tweets and replies. Let's see if it's here. He posted a picture of his bus with his face over it and with his face on it. And someone's like, wow, what a narcissist. And he's like, oh, here it is. Here it is. So he posted this picture, and it says, taking a breather before the Nebraska event. And it's literally his bus with his name plastered all over it, his logo, his face is on the back of it, the tour, the website, blah, blah, blah. And someone said, you're such a narcissist. Now, most people of Scott's caliber, as big as he is, he gets a shit ton of comments, would just be like, fuck it. Scott's like, you are blocked, douchebag, for doing nothing for the country. This motherfucker could be a rocket surgeon, okay? He could be a baby healing specialist for exclusively working for babies from baby farms deep underground, deep under the earth. Who knows? But no, he's doing nothing for the country because he said, you are such a narcissist. I mean, that tore him up, dude. You are blocked, douchebag, for doing nothing for the country. I wonder what the replies say. Just another GOP prick terrified of the voice of the people. You're a parasite and a shitbag. Block me too, fuckface. Oh, you could have left the GOP part out, but still. With a whopping 4 followers. Someone making fun of his size. Irrelevant troll with 17 followers. Oh, God. What's up, man? What's up?
Consciousness in action is not walking necessarily, looking like a friar with your hands together in a state of grace. Consciousness in action can be wielding a sword of truth, can be wielding a stick, can be wielding, a weapon of choice in order to defeat the kingdom of the devil. But when you take that Patriot Street Fighter fire energy and you also put it together with, for instance, Uniform Commercial Code, or with
hey, where's the talent here? I didn't sign up to watch this washed up motherfucker that everybody thinks is now working for the deep state, and Sriracha, who is actually working for the deep state. Where's Scott at?
The true art of dispelling the dream spell, the way that
I think Sasha, one of the visions he has from years and years of brain trauma is just a thesaurus that floats around above his head. While he's looking for words, he's like, no, that won't be good. No, more syllables. Okay, yeah, that'll work. And then he just blurts it out.
Russell J. Gould, as Postmaster General, has proven with his retrieval of the true flag. This is an important piece. It's way beyond intellectualism. All of the governments, all of the war, disease, and poverty in the world, as you know, Simon, is connected to the invisible contracts which have been assailed upon humanity by these invisible and indivisible Babylonian priest bankers. The fact that now good patriot street fighters will be able to learn the true craft of disentangling themselves.
You can also apparently buy a Patriot prostate massager to get rid of toxins, heavy metals, and man milk for €299. Thank you for putting that out there, Patriot Street Fighter, in the chat.
From the spell binding, the invisible contracts, the trust indentureship.
His camera battery died, and now he's trying to figure out how to jumpstart it from the motorcycle.
And so on. This, to me, is an alchemization moment, and I'm very excited about it. Scott and I are going to be moving forward in a pretty healthy way there. Scott, you might want to touch on that.
He may have lost connection.
Done.
Oh.
Okay. It's just you and
That's
me.
what you get for not looking at the screen, you dumb piece of shit, and just making up words. Scott, would you mind touching on that? Scott left 6 minutes ago. You've literally just been reading through a thesaurus.
Where's the next port of call? Where are you planning to go next?
Well, I believe tomorrow morning, Las Vegas. We're here now, so I look forward to seeing Lee and Scott here. I'm doing some downtime with friends and family, and then tomorrow, I believe afternoon, they'll be taking the Arise Freedom Tour to Kingsman outside. Right.
Kingsman.
Outside of Vegas. But their tour schedule is on Arise Freedom Tour.
Kingsman?
Should be up there by now.
Okay.
King Dingman.
We've lost
King Demon.
I'm going to let you guys go because it's grueling. And
because Scott left and no one wants to hear Sriracha. That's not what I signed up for. I'm just going to have to let you guys go. Hopefully you guys figure it out later. I'm not currently interested in talking to you alone. If there's any way you can get Scott back, maybe we can redo the show. But as of right now, I am good, I would say. Good. The interview's over is what I'm trying to say. No matter how many bracelets you wear to it, we're going to have to wrap it up.
Our next pop star, it must be wonderful to be back on a coach again.
King's Dominion, that's right.
That's grim as hell. Arctic conditions, miserable as sin. It's not the bit that
I've been to King's Dominion once. I've also worked at a power plant, and from the top of it, the air intake on top of the turbine, you could see the roller coasters at King's Dominion. It was pretty cool.
I enjoy. Trust me. Actually, we've rented our own. Myself.
I'm going to let you guys go because it's grueling. And for our next pop star, it must be wonderful to be back on a coach again.
That's grim as hell. Arctic conditions, miserable as sin. It's not the bit that I enjoy. Trust me. Actually, we've rented our own. Myself and my small team, because I'm here really just traveling and aiming my camera and just enjoying being here.
Sasha, it looks like you
aiming my camera at my face, and whatever's in the background, I may or may not get, as long as my face is in it.
You've got a wonderful coach there. Looking at the back, you've got everything.
Yes, it's a luxury appointed coach. Yeah.
Exactly right. Listen, lots of love to all of you on the team. Maybe in the future, when we look back, we'll realize that it played a much bigger role than perhaps even people appreciate now. So it's not on behalf of everyone who is spiritual, thank you for going out, all of you, and making an example, I think, showing that you weren't prepared to sit at home, you were going to go out, you were going to do something. And I'm really pleased that, it's a mixed bag of people who actually represent humanity. So listen, Sasha, thanks. It's been wonderful to speak to you. And I'm sorry we've lost Scott, but I know the internet was a bit in and out.
Simon, I just want to thank and acknowledge the CC members, because honestly, it is such a huge support for me. I feel like it's my surrogate family, and I'm not exaggerating.
The Cucked Kings. The Cucked Kings. That's the CC members.
Between 50 and 100 messages coming in from CC members, just extending their love and their support. I mean, that means that there are thousands, tens of thousands of them looking in and supporting. And it means a lot to me. And I know that we're frequency aligned. And I'm very, very grateful for my CC family. I think Scott may have just jumped back on again.
Yeah,
Here he is, eating popcorn.
So Scott, we're just saying goodbye. And I'm glad to get you back in because, we were just saying what a wonderful thing it is. I'm so pleased. I didn't want to have to close this with you not being there.
Thank you so much, Simon. My phone
Hey, he's trying to wrap up, Scott. Let's wrap it up.
From the Nevada sunshine, or if it was for me heating up, it was either or, but it overheated.
That's the energy. Listen. God bless to all of you. Keep fighting, never give in, and never surrender.
Thank you, Simon.
New slogan: never give in, never surrender. Fight for the right, and the republic will fall. All hail the Emperor Palpatine. I think that's the whole slogan. There is a larger portion of that slogan. So he's got other videos. He's been putting them up. He actually did an RDS one too. But before, I told you we were going to watch a video first, but I do have to do my little housekeeping things. Hey guys, make sure you're sharing wherever you're at. like the page, like the video, subscribe to the YouTube channel. We have a second YouTube channel called Cold Beer Creations where I do some really fun shit with my son. Speaking of, we have an Amazon wish list where people buy stuff for this channel and the other channel, and my flight computer come in. That is the APM 2.8. It's a cheaper one because it's outdated. There's newer ones now, but this does everything I needed to do, and it's cheaper than the other one, so I do appreciate that. Because it come from a third-party vendor, I did not get a note on who bought this. So whoever you are, if you want to let me know in an email or something that you bought this, thank you. If you don't, thank you either way. If you don't want me to say your name or whatever, that's fine too. But it came from a third-party vendor, so I usually thank people by name unless they request not to be. I couldn't on that one, but it is here. So you can check out that's an Amazon wish list. That's for both channels. Just share is all we ask, but if you want to go above and beyond, you can do the wish list. You can do cultclub.com, which is stream elements donation, a tip with a message you can leave. You can also do buy me a coffee, especially if you're coming from Facebook. It's easier to sign in there. We have merch, and we have multiple groups that you can join. So we have a Telegram, and we have a Discord. Y'all are welcome to join any of those. And the last thing that we got currently going on, and hasn't been going the best, is I have an issue with my home currently, so I do have a GoFundMe up. If that's not something you support, not something you want to do, fine. Share it if you can. If you're against that, fine. It's not an argument to be had. It's the first time I've ever had to ask for help in my life, and I feel like shit already. So if you want to help with that, go ahead and help with it. If you don't, you don't. But I think that's all the links we have. Let's see if we can... If we can check out the Robert David Steele video.
Okay. Simon Parks, you and I have gone back and forth, and today we've agreed to do a 15-minute virtual contribution of yours to the Arise USA tour. So we're planning to spend 7 or 8 minutes talking about you and your past and how you've evolved. And then we'll flip around and talk about Arise USA and your questions for me and your message for the people on this tour. So let me start with, there are some people that don't know you, although.
That's right. Ritual magic. So a lot of the people, like I was surprised when, okay, now I'm not the most religious person. No, I think religion's a good thing. I think everybody should be able to practice their religion as long as it doesn't command you to kill me and you don't act upon those things. Practice whatever religion you want. You got it. I grew up super religious, and that kind of drove me away from it when I was as an adult. Like super religious. Like my mom's brothers, she's got like 5 brothers that are preachers. We were in church every time the doors were open. I was forced to do this, forced to do that, and it was a lot of hellfire, brimstone preaching, and it just kind of drove me away. So I grew up, and I know the Bible, and I've read the entire Bible several times, and I never see a whole lot in the Bible about some of the stuff they profess about the aliens and about traveling to different planets and different dimensions and the magic or the magic, the ritual magic, like someone just mentioned. It's a lot of things that, especially like the stuff about the Jewish people that comes around a lot of times. Like, there's a lot of things that I don't remember seeing in the Bible, but they still have all these Christian, conservative, mainstream people that really stick to every word they say, even though it seems to go against quite a bit of the Bible. Damn, are my alerts not working, guys? I'm sorry, I just saw a donation come through. If I missed other ones, Never Give In, Never Surrender. It was Rachel LaCroix, $10. At Nocturnal tipped $10. Never Give In, never. I'm gonna have to check that. I apologize. I don't know why the alerts aren't working. I will look though.
A lot of consciousness people have been showing up at our events. Yes. And that has been noticed and appreciated. They're a signal contribution, and they're meeting other people who are then being attracted to the whole idea of your network. So why don't you walk us through the last 10 years of your life and how you have evolved and where you are now and what your priorities are going forward?
Okay, well, I know you like to keep things short, So it's a bit like a telegram with you, isn't it? Such and such a stop, such and such a stop. All right, okay. Well, I've been going for 11 years, and I went public with my background and my family, sort of the roles they had, the experiences I'd had. And of course, as you would imagine, Robert, the mainstream didn't much like me and turned against me.
Turned against me.
I suppose about 8 years ago, I decided that the way I wanted to try and change the world in a small way was to create a spiritual group who were self-sufficient, supported each other, turned their back on the lies of mainstream.
Oh, that's not it. Sorry.
A whole range of people, from people who were deeply religious to preppers to people who were just down and out and
preppers.
So there wasn't any rules about who you were. You just had to be a truth seeker, and you had to be a genuine person. And so Connecting Consciousness grew from that. Now, I know that a lot of Colorado members and other members of different states have been coming to your buses, your coaches, and I wanted to take this opportunity to thank them for supporting you, for supporting Arise USA. I hope that many of them can get to Rushmore on the 4th of July. We were planning as a team to come out, but Britain is really heavily satanic and it's very difficult to get out at the moment. We are expecting to get out to Florida probably now in September, but that'll be too late for you.
Maybe.
So
maybe September.
That's it.
If you know the new God Emperor of the world and the man who also runs the world banking interest and is in charge of our country and all the other countries that capitulated to him, don't you think you could get a flight? I don't know. I think so.
England for another country and then come in to the
US.
Someone
was telling me that. Yeah.
If you were to go to Spain, for example, and join Charlie for 14 days, you're then cleared to come into the US.
Isn't that crazy?
So tell me, Simon, as you're looking at the panorama here in the United States, there are rumors that President Trump will show up at Mount Rushmore on the 3rd of July. I have no direct knowledge. What's your overall sense?
Didn't you start those rumors? You started those rumors, and then you're claiming like, I don't know if that's going to happen or not, guys. I'm just saying, there are rumors that Trump will be at our event at Mount Rushmore. I don't know who started them. It was me. But I cannot confirm nor deny.
As you look at America, and then we're going to come back to what Simon Parkes wants to accomplish. What's your overall sense looking at America about the dominoes falling on election fraud? Where do you think we are in terms of coming back to normal and perhaps reinstating President Trump as the legally elected president?
Well, Biden thinks Trump's coming back. That's why he tried to cancel the firework displays at Mount Rushmore. I think that the Flag Day, which is the 14th of June, which is President Trump's birthday, I think that's a really good date to announce the Arizona audit result in the AZ Senate. I think the media can either choose to ignore it or they can run with it. I think if they ignore it, then they bring a military response much sooner. That's the first.
I agree, and let me tell our shared viewers that Abraham Lincoln used the Sedition Act to arrest editors and writers who were spreading lies, or in this case, lies by omission. So, Simon, you're feeling good about America. What are your plans? What do you personally want to see happen in the U.S. and the world? Kind of, what is Simon Parkes' vision for the next 5 to 10 years?
What's your vision?
You've asked me about America and the world in 1 minute.
No, don't. I don't mean to be brief. Look, presidents have the attention span of a.
Look how uncomfortable he gets right here.
Who were spreading lies, or in this case, lies by omission. So, Simon, you're feeling good about America. What are your plans? What do you personally want to see happen in the U.S. and the world? Kind of, what is Simon Parkes' vision for the next 5 to 10 years?
You've asked me about America and the world in 1 minute. No,
don't. I don't mean to be brief. Look, presidents have the attention.
He gets very uncomfortable there for sure.
Yeah,
Okay.
except President
My
Trump.
audience is very presidential in many ways.
Oh,
But
bless
no,
you.
don't let me constrain you on time.
right,
What's
okay.
your vision for the future?
Right. First of all, connecting consciousness. The vision for connecting consciousness is a worldwide representation. Certainly, we expect to open a healing center in every state of America. We expect to have offices in Arizona, Florida,
Arizona,
Texas,
Florida,
and believe
Texas.
it or not, in California, because remember that California was flipped and supported Trump.
California.
I'm looking for a complete change in the way the world does business. I'm looking for a way when people are treated with real respect. And that means changing
Real respect. That's when we'll know.
the way that you're in America, the way that your Senate and your Congress work. Our judges need to be re-educated. And I think, to be honest with you, a getting back to God and the values of God, not deep because of religion, but because the teachings are decent and good. And we need to move away from the satanic elements that control parts of the earth and embrace
The satanic elements. We got to move away from those for sure.
I'm hoping that with a little bit of backing from what I call the new government, connecting consciousness will actually be in a position to roll
Guys,
out,
well, there's a few minutes left. I got to piss right quick.
shine a light.
Don't miss a word. I need your help to catch me up.
There you go, Robert. I've done that in as quick as I could.
You know, it's brilliant. It's utterly brilliant, Simon. And what's fascinating to me is that you and I are converging, because I just bought the URLs USA99.net,
right.
.org, and .com. And Trent Luce and Kevin Jenkins, my two co-commanders for this tour. Trent Luce is the farmer cowboy, and Kevin Jenkins is a leading Black activist and organizer who completely rejects critical race theory and all the garbage that is being sold. I think he's presidential material. Just as I say, Sheriff Richard Mack, one of our other partners, is the second most important man in America after.
Yeah, I've definitely heard of the sheriff.
Well, what's happening here is we are now getting a lot of attention for the possibility of creating a new national foundation that
We're back.
allows every single person to join for free. And our intent is to go with people, not parties.
Did I miss anything? We're forming a new national foundation.
And to be able to drop 1,000 people on any school board meeting, any county commission meeting, any state legislative meeting, any federal congressional hearing. So we're finally at a point where we think we can organize the 99% against the 1%. And we have the explicit objective of destroying the Republican and Democratic parties, which are the fronts for the deep state. They're the enablers. And I make the point that election fraud is how Wall Street gets a Congress that's corrupt. Wall Street steals trillions of dollars through naked short selling and through laundering money. And then satanic pedophilia and child trafficking and torture and adrenochrome are the glue that keeps it all together. And what I will tell you is that on this tour, Simon, people are getting it. People are understanding the integration of election fraud, Wall Street treason and crime, and satanic pedophilia. Do you have a message for our audience? I mean, completely apart from your excellent work in the consciousness movement.
I have no doubt that a satanic form of child abuse does take place, okay? Nowhere near the scale that they want you to believe it does. There's no way. No fucking way.
But what would you say to...
We're going to talk about that in a minute.
Contemplate the 4th of July, and don't forget to ask me what we're planning for Mount Rushmore. But what would you say?
I won't forget to ask you the question that you sent me beforehand. No, I'm only joking. I think what I would say to Americans is that it's been 6 months of hell, and I'm using that word deliberately, and the light is about to shine through. So if you've made it this far, you are going to make it, because we're jolly nearly there. Right, Robert, tell me the rest of your plans.
Well, jolly nearly there is a great phrase. You know, I go back to England in the 17th.
Yeah.
Yes, well, I go back to England in the 17th century. My great was a wool weaver, Joseph Steele, and his stone hut was still standing in, I forget whether it's Cheshire or where.
It will be in Cheshire. It'll be in the northwest part of Britain.
Well, his stone hut was still
Well,
standing 50
I'm going to tell
years
you,
ago.
Charlie, just I'm going to interrupt you because I was talking to Charlie about this. My grandfather was born in the very same place, and he worked in the wool industry.
That's in
They're both wool guys from way back. Talk about a riveting conversation. Are you telling me that your great grandfather also was a wool man? My great grandfather did some stuff with wool. Made things out of wool, harvested wool, spun wool into thread and yarn, made love to sheep. I mean, we're basically potato. You know what I'm saying? Douchebags.
we both go back to wool weavers.
Yeah,
This is
absolutely. Yes.
fascinating.
Yeah. Yeah.
And that brings me now full circle.
We both go back to wool weavers. We are both just two wild and crazy wool weavers out here in a world full of sheep.
To save the farmers and save the cowboys. You know, there are 5 F words on our tour. Faith,
Oh my God. Faith, family, friends, firearm. Faith, family, friends, firearms. Am I missing one? Faith, family, friends, firearms. What is it, chat? What is it? Faith, family, friends, firearms, and farming. Lubaloo. You want it. Farming them wool weavers. I should have known it. Wool weavers.
faith, family, freedom, farms, and firearms.
Yes.
And I'm actually
Lou
coming
Below
closer
with the
to
win.
Jesus at a tactical level. I'm actually not cursing. I mean, there's a little angel on my shoulder every time I go to use one of my Marine Corps words. It says, Robert, using.
There's a little angel on my shoulder every time I'm like, hey, I want to say fuck. The angel says they will give you less money because they think you are a Christian.
Another word. So Mount Rushmore is going to be the epicenter of this entire tour. We're going to open, we have reserved the park. We own the park at the base of Mount Rushmore. It will only hold 350 people. And we are going to open before the sun comes up. As the sun comes up, as the dawn's early light comes up on the 4th of July, we will have a cowboy open air church service.
Very good.
350 people.
Very good.
And then over the course of the day, we will have speakers and music. And at lunchtime, everyone's invited to bring a picnic. And by the way, because it's so crowded, the people who are there for the sunrise will get a rubber stamp on their hand that allows them free access back and forth into the park.
Very
And
good.
those who come to the church service will be on a first come, first service, space permitting basis. And
Sure.
of course, we'll be live streaming. So people can watch it on their phones and their computers if they can't get into the park. But the church service, the dawn's early light, is the beginning of a day that is going to see about 20 major speakers, and many of them spiritual speakers.
Good.
And then and they will circulate at lunch.
Trump's going to be there for 350 people. Why else would Biden cancel fireworks? Did you know that Biden specifically canceled fireworks at Mount Rushmore? Biden specifically canceled fireworks at Mount Rushmore. That's what they would have you believe. That's the way they tell their story, huh?
Lunchtime as people have a picnic lunch. And then at the end of the day, if donations permit, we will have a light show. We're not going to fight Joe Biden on fireworks, and a light show can act.
So the request was actually rejected over health and safety and blah blah blah. Besides what Trump did it was last year. Besides what Trump did, it's always been held trying to get that. I very seriously Biden had anything to do with signing off on it. It's more of a federal park thing.
So we don't need donations.
Every park here, locally owned by the federal government, none of them allow fireworks year round, much less on the 4th of July. Like year round, none.
Need for people to go to bigbatusa.org and join as a founding citizen. And we do have an international certificate. So we've got a lot of Canadian and Australian and UK members
Good.
who know that what we are doing in America is a precursor to what will happen in the rest of the world. So I would certainly be glad if you would share with people the possibility of becoming a founding citizen, making a donation, and helping us on our march to Mount Rushmore. And then after Mount Rushmore, we'll do the other 50 stops.
I think they're really concerned with the Indian tribe there as well. Like they are, you know how like the left panders a lot to minorities and groups, and we wouldn't let them do that because this is your sovereign land. We wouldn't celebrate our country's birthday right there. No.
As a victory lap, and we'll be showing the films from Mount Rushmore. We'll be making a small movie of the Mount Rushmore thing. At the end of the day, I think Mount Rushmore is going to represent the birth of the new republic. And
so Robert David Steele has hired 10 billion drones.
I don't know
all with flashing lights aboard.
Will be there or not, but I'm quite certain that America is being reborn on the 4th of July of this year.
Well said, Robert. And I just hope that Marine One flies past, and that would be excellent.
Yeah, especially if you're shooting fireworks at it. That would be awesome.
Well, I will tell you, Simon, that Marine Zero will be at Mount Rushmore.
I thought you were Little Gangster Wings. Lil Gangsta Wings.
Let's end it on that note, shall we?
Yeah, that's good. Lovely to see you, and good luck. And
I'm looking forward to your next update, Simon. Now, just tell us where people can go to absolutely connect with you with all of the censorship.
Okay, so we've been allowed back on YouTube. We don't know how long for. We've got our fingers crossed.
But what's your never fail link?
Okay, yeah, it's Simon Park.
We're back on YouTube. I don't think you were ever banned, dude. I swear I don't think you were banned. Banksy, like the artist Banksy. I like that name.
And that's Parks with a P-K. It's a K-E-S.
P-A-R-K-E-S.
K-E-S. Simon.
No,
Parks.
the Queen. I'm not saying anything about the Queen.
BigFatUSA.org is your counterpart.
Passed away.
I'm honored to know you.
And you too. Listen, good luck. Good luck with it all.
Right.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
So they, I guess they reapplied for a fireworks permit. It was denied back in March. Kristi Noem is suing because it's something that the state had planned on doing. It had literally nothing to do with Robert David Steele. It was Kristi Noem's doing it for her state as a state-funded thing. They said, no, we're not going to allow it on federal land. We control that land. The Department of Interiors, who ruled on it, they cited a dry season. They cited issues with local natives. They cited COVID and the gathering of people, and they denied it back in March. Honestly, they denied it before Robert David Steele even announced his tour, but whatever. Like, of course it has something to do with Robert David Steele going there. Why wouldn't it? It just seems like too many things just line up without lining up at all, huh? Idiots. I've got some other stuff. Give me just a second. I got some stuff I want to see here, but I'll have to go grab it. Thank you for donations and stuff. I don't know why the alerts are not working, but I will read the alert panel as I can. I don't know if the Buy Me a Coffee link is working or not. I might see if I can test it here in a second, but give me just a second. Let me see what we got. There is a post that I was in the other day that I want to watch a video on because it's that crazy massage parlor prostitute testified in the White House kind of lady. Let's see if we can find her. Justice has been arrested by white hats. That makes sense. That makes perfect sense. Oh, that's funny. Who the fuck is that? Where did the post go that I'm looking for? Give me just a second. I might have passed over it. Let me try again. It said, "Who knows anything about what's her name?" I keep forgetting her damn name. The one lady who claims that she was. Oh, here it is. Claims she was trafficked by Joe Biden himself and had to go testify within the White House. This is her book, so This is her book up on Amazon. It's called My Father's Daughter. My Father's Daughter. It has less than 3 stars, 2.3 stars, less than 2.5 stars out of 5. I never intended to go into the adult film industry. I never dreamed of being sold for money without my consent. And yet, that's exactly what happened. So here begins my journey. It's one that started with survival, death, heartbreak, drugs, money, sex, and lies, but led to restoration, healing, forgiveness, and an unconditional love so unimaginable it is sometimes disbelieved when spoken of. But it's real. Oh, so real. See if we can read some reviews, actually. Here's a 1-star review. I have known Stacy, since the day she was born. And at least 90% of this book is a lie. It is true she did go into porn, but I don't know why or how. One thing I do know is it wasn't because her father was raping her or her mother. Whoa, that escalated quickly. Or her mother wasn't doing anything about it. Shame on you, Stacy, for saying those awful things about your parents. Ignore the heartless haters. It is so sad to me that people would try to say she is lying just because you would rather remain ignorant than have to be accountable for the knowledge of what's going on in the world. Doesn't mean you get to be another garbage person in a person's life that has already been so difficult. And the people critiquing her grammar, at the end of that book, you want to talk about her writing style and her grammar? Well, it is a book. Grow a heart, you Grinch. Damn, they stole her Christmas, too. Obviously, you can't relate to having any hardship in your life, and you'd understand the real takeaway of the book. I can vouch for that. Basically, I've never experienced a hardship ever in my life, so everything's just been super peachy from the day I was born. Silver spoon, 2 good legs, and that just carried through the rest of my life. I read this book in a matter of hours, and I am changed for the better. People wish this stuff were not true because they don't want the inconvenience of truth. How sad. Here's a 2-star. Good content, very poor writing style. I am always very excited to support anything XXX Church promotes, as I have been following them from their beginning. So when I saw them advertise this book, I purchased it last week, received it yesterday, read and finished it today. I am left feeling rather disappointed. Here's why. The content is indeed compelling, and way too many other things distract me from that. It's an easy read, a short book. I honestly got distracted from the poor writing style. It was challenging to follow along from a literary standpoint. The book is just plain rough. It brings in too many names, too many people who seem to have nothing to do with the ultimate end of the story, which is hard to keep track of. Felt very staccato. I don't even know what that word means, to be honest with you, but whatever. Felt very staccato. There were several. Before I go any further, let me clarify this, which is abrupt and not a smooth way when telling a story. Even a few grammar errors. I think there might be a great story in here, but this book really needs some deep, heavy editing first. A poorly written testimony, which then becomes published, can be seen honestly as a poor testimony. Ooh, that was a rough one. Real honest, powerful, must read. In 23 years of working as an individual sex and massage therapist, sex and marriage therapist, I have heard many, many personal stories of emotional, physical, and sexual abuse. I have never heard one like this. Madison's story is compelling, shocking, traumatic, at brief times hard to read, but ultimately powerful, hope-giving, and a gift. The courage it must have taken her to tell her story is truly inspiring. I read this book in a brief time because I could not put it down, though at one point I had to put it down to take a breath and decompress from it. I am so glad I read the book. I felt changed by it. I felt more aware of the very dark truth about the porn industry. It has also given me a renewed heart and conviction about helping women battle through and survive abuse, as well as helping those who have been harmed by the effects of pornography in their lives. My heart goes out to Madison, and I encourage you to read this book so you can too be inspired and beautifully impacted by it. Leslie Gustafson, MFT, author of Amazing Intimacy, Create a Spectacular Marriage in and out of the Bedroom. Here's the last one. We got one more 1-star. Let's see if this works. 1 star. Complete Lies. I read this book and I know Madison. The Facebook. Damn, this is all fucked up tonight then, ain't it? Facebook, I'll have to open them separately so I can respond to them. I read this book and I know Madison. I can also confirm that in this book is full of lie after lie that can be verified. It's with great sadness I must write this review and ask anyone who is thinking of purchasing this book to refrain from doing so. Madison should not be rewarded by taking consumers' money to read something that is absolutely not true. She has had problems conning people with her lies since she was little, and this book is yet another example of who she is. The MFT, who wrote the review saying in 15 years of practice she has never seen anything like Madison's story, well, that's because her story isn't true. Wow. No one woman gets raped by every male authority figure who walks into your life. Fathers, pastors, police officers, such lies that are verifiable. I urge those who have read it to look into the details and confront the lies, and please do not support these. So that's what I felt from the book, from reading a synopsis of the book. Every time she ran into a dude, every time she ran into a male figure, they just whopped out their penis and just went at it. Like, that's it. I've had enough lip out of you. I was just going to give you the speeding ticket, but not now. And then they just beating it down. So that's kind of what I took away from it, from the synopsis side. Of course, I didn't read the book. I'm not giving this woman any money. There is no way. Oh, I saw Carolyn's last. Hold on, let me run a test because I've been seeing some of the Facebook comments. I put in test. Let's see if that works. All right, let me grab her video. That's what I really wanted to get to after we read this. I think this is the Great British Turd, but this is the joke making fun of her. Hold on, that's not the right one. View 3 comments. Her real name is Stacey Dawn Williams, a.k.a. Faith DeLucia. She has warrants for her arrest in California, claims to be an attorney in Washington State. He is not listed under any of her names on Washington's bar lookup. Wow. Shit, that escalated quickly, huh? Where's the video? Here it is. This is called Prayer and Ketchup. Not like catching up, but like ketchup, like you would eat, I think.
How are you?
I think that's what she meant.
Good, how are you? Not bad at all. I've been sitting outside.
Oh, yeah, Sue Smith, I see yours. I think they're working, guys.
Quite nice. But, well, saying quite nice. It's a bit cloudy, but better than, rain, I should say. So,
hello, how are you? Hello, how are you, doll? I'm tired of these fuck twats.
So tell me about what's going on.
Tell me about what's going on. She speaks like she's angry at the English language and hates your ears. She hates the language and wants to cause you pain in your ears.
Some stuff on the internet.
Oh yeah, there's lots on the internet, but I reach out to you. I mean, I have a lot of followers that are reaching out, demanding proof of, my rapes and torture, and then demanding of evidence.
That's a good looking shirt, NCB.
You, with in regards to that, what are your thoughts?
Well, I follow you, and you've got some lovely people. I mean, really lovely people that genuinely are wanting to help stop trafficking and all the things that are going on. And I've noticed that there's a few odd people, but I mean, the thing is, I realise what that is because it's organised psyops. The people that are doing those posts are probably working for a trafficking organisation because they're trying to upset you, but they're also trying to get people off the group to make them feel uncomfortable. So I will tell you how
they go down in whose bums? Not M's. They go down in M's bums? I hope not. They threatened that at one point.
I handled it because I'm in Britain going after paedophiles, obviously, and parliamentary paedophiles and trafficking and stuff like that. So what I did was I got hold of all my people that follow me, and I said to them, I'm trying to do God's work here, which is trying to protect children. And it's like fighting fire, because there's odd people coming on my wall and posting very just naughty stuff that you wouldn't say to do with children or anything. So I actually asked my people that are following me, saying, look, will you do me a favor? I haven't got time to do everything. Can you help me manage my site? I said, anyone that you see that you think a comment, it's not worth keeping on there because it's rude or vulgar or it's totally offensive towards somebody. Right. Then report it, and then it can get deleted. I don't know what you, but anyway, it's worked for me. I've asked them to do God's work for me, and since then, I don't really get bad comments on the wall for that reason. So.
Yeah, I need to do that too. Just because it's like they'll also post. I mean, obviously, my rape and torture is out there, so they'll go find it. It's not hard to find it. It's online. It's been there. So and I obviously wrote a book. I'm out there speaking about it. So it's easy to go find it, especially because they have a thing called Porn WikiLeaks, and it leaks everything under your real name. So it's just like,
oh, okay, that makes sense.
It took you many years to talk about all this, and you wrote the book to get yourself through it, which is why you did it. Yeah. And now you're at the stage where obviously you know what's coming. I mean, we know what's coming, but for the people that are out there, I don't think they seem to understand that you're just a person like they are. You're just a human being, one of God's creation, and it shows bravery what you're doing. And I think really it's very sad that certain individuals want to try and ask such questions. But I will say, I think when what's transpiring with,
I guess
God and Jesus,
certain individuals want to ask questions. I think that's sad. No, I mean, no question should be off limits. If you're professing some type of story, no question should be off limits.
Everything. These people
Caitlyn Jenner.
Too long, are they?
Well, exactly.
They're not choosing the side, are they? The right side. What you think on that subject?
Well, I mean, that's what we've talked about, that, right? You got to choose between good and evil. There's no in between. There's two kingdoms we're serving here. There's no middle ground here. It is you're serving good or you're serving evil. And just like you said, I am a person. I have endured horrific things and rose above it.
I'm gonna try something right quick. Emulate. Let's try this. Emulate a tip event for $10.
Born too late to explore the earth. Born too early to explore.
See, it shows it working here, but where is that?
Explore dank memes.
It showed the Trump thing pop up, but it didn't show it here.
Born too late to explore the earth. Born too early to explore the universe.
Okay, I hear you, lady. I wonder why that's not working.
But that's because of God. That's because Jesus has helped me. But I also am not stupid. I mean, I have a family. I have close friends that are like family. You know what I mean? I have to keep people around me safe. It's not even about me. I'm in the front lines. You're in the front lines, right? You and I are putting ourselves out there, but the people around us, we got to do whatever to keep them safe. And they really aren't picking the right side. I mean, here's the thing too, you're going out and searching for my porn or whatever and posting it. That's evil. You're looking at it. You're looking at porn. You think that that's normal to look at it. And I'm not judgmental.
Well, I mean, if you made it and I consume it, I mean, I think at worst, the worst possible takeaway from that, we could call ourselves even. I'm not I'm evil. You made it. I just watched it. I honestly think that I'm on the better side of this deal. But if worst case scenario, giving you the greatest benefit of doubt, I could say we're even. And that's about it.
So whatsoever, God can forgive anybody and anyone. And I think when you're looking at that stuff, what are you filled with, right? Evil spirits and demonic forces. It's sad. But yeah, you got to make a choice. You got to choose good or evil. And coming after someone, it's like they look at us like, okay, you're like on social media and whatever. So it's let's attack us, right? Attack us however which way. But we're humans. We have hearts and we have feelings. We have, people can break too. People can get tired. I mean, I tried to take a break and then people went crazy, like posting, like I had a friend that was posting some stuff for me and people were like text messaging me pissed off about what she's posting. I'm like, when someone says they need a break, let them rest, right? Like let them rest. Blowing up my phone and doing all of that. It's kind of.
I think this is going to change in the future though, because I mean, you and I have talked about this. We are using the system to get the truth out there because you're safe now, but there's many other girls that are still on boys that still aren't safe. And so we're weaponizing what we've got to get the truth out to the people.
Right.
However, I think and I know when all this is done, what we're going to be doing. We won't be using our phones.
No.
Because our job is to look after each other.
That makes perfect sense, to be honest with you.
It's not to publicise it. Once we know we've set these anti-trafficking up in the UK and different things and we're connected to you, and we're connected across the pond, I don't need to be on the phone every 5 minutes because we're going to be using correct email addresses.
We got to get in them dumbs.
We don't.
We got to get in M's bums.
Behind sorting those things out so that they can talk about the stories and how many children were saved and stuff. Once, obviously not names and everything, but that's the way. That's where we're going, because you deserve to have your personal space. And to be honest, you've suffered long enough now. And you and I talked about that, where you want to end up. So
right.
I think you've just got to rise above it and ask everybody, I think, that is following you to just understand that you're human. You're like me, you've got kids and you want to protect other people and other people's children. So if anybody's on your wall, please report anything that you think's not correct.
Yeah, exactly. And anyone that's watching this now, I mean, seriously, just report them because I can't look at everything all the time. I'm busy. I'm a mom. I'm going out and doing these rescues. I'm also running anti-trafficking houses and I'm in law school. Like it's not, and you and I are doing work together across the ponds. I mean, a lot of work together and it's not about.
That makes sense.
You look gorgeous.
I do not. I'm not good.
I feel like I look like 60.
I'm so tired. It's as somebody said the other day, oh, you've lost weight. I mean, normally I'd be okay about losing weight, but I've lost weight because I'm not eating because of the stress factor. Because our hours are different. The 6 hours, 6, 7, 8 hours delay, and you're thinking, depends on where you are. And I'm thinking, oh my God, I can't get. It's just you can't sleep. When you go to sleep, you're worrying about stuff that you've got to do.
Well, exactly. Well, that's the thing. And look what we're doing. I mean, we are working and rescuing kids. If your phone goes off, you look at it because you're like, do I have to get up and go do something right now in the middle of the night? Go get a kid? Because that's what we do. You're going to get up, or a woman.
Got to go get a kid. That makes sense.
Child, whatever. You get up and
she gets a lot of calls in the middle of the night to go get a kid. Sorry, I was looking at my overlays.
Where it's, so yeah, people helping out.
Thank you for joining, Nicole.
My page, reporting it helps us because our passion isn't social media. We are out there talking about it, but our passion is to help everyone. I told you this, we talked about this, I think it was yesterday. Every single person on this earth has at least one child they're connected to, whether it's like a niece, a nephew, a friend's child, or whatever. You have a child. So all of us have duties to protect those children, whatever that looks like. People always ask us how they can help. Like, look in your own backyard. Is something off there? Protect that child.
Well, we said that, didn't we, about setting up the anti-trafficking over here. Start small, grow big, go tall.
Protect that child.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
The fuck was that noise?
Child.
Well, we said that, didn't we, about setting up the anti-trafficking over here. Start small, grow big, go tall. And that's what we're going to do, isn't it?
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
The fuck was that? Why are they pretending like they didn't hear it?
Protect that child.
Well, we said that, didn't we, about setting up the anti-trafficking over here. Start small, grow big, go tall. And that's what we're going to do, isn't it?
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
Sounds awesome.
So, can I say now? Do you
fucking grenade just hit the floor.
Yeah.
I could do the prayer.
Yeah.
If that's okay.
Yeah. You want to pray or you want to pray?
No, you do. You do the. You're the best leader.
No, I just talked to Jesus. All right. Lord, I come before you and I just first thank you for Claire and I thank you for everyone that is on her page and my
The
page
Great British Tired, I think is what she goes by.
And I just pray for protection around and I pray coming for us. And their families. And I pray to remove all the evil and the ones that are coming for us. And I just pray for protection over us and protection over our families at this point in time. And I just pray for every child that you'll give Claire and I the strength to be able to go in and get them, the UK, here in America, and wherever else that you might send Claire and I to go get these kids, that you will give us the strength to do so. And you'll give us the protection so that we can come home to our families, Lord. And we just love you. We pray against any evil spirits that might be coming at us, or any people that might just be angry or have those spirits that are coming at us. I just rebuke that in Jesus' name, and pray blessings upon everyone that follows us, everyone that is supporting Claire and I pray blessings upon Claire's family and my family.
Very strategic prayer for your channel.
In Jesus' name I pray. Amen.
Amen. Sorry about the noise in the background there.
No.
Got quite a lot of wind going on outside, and then somebody's left the window open, so it's not ghosts.
I didn't even hear it.
Is that how is that? Now listen, I need to talk to you about tomorrow. We've got a guy that wants to talk to you and I about everything to do with Project Blue Beam.
Okay.
So he's a scientist and he knows a lot of stuff. But anyway, bottom line is it links into what we were talking about with AI technology and Antichrist, one thing and another. So
he knows a lot of stuff.
Okay, so that's going to be tomorrow.
Basically a scientist.
Make some time for Owen and I to talk about that. And I think that's about it really for today. Is that okay?
Yeah. Perfect. All right.
All right. So I'll catch you tomorrow. Lots of love.
All right. Mwah. Bye.
Wow. Wow. At least they're getting their new viewers. Let's see what else she's got. I'm gonna have to search that woman's name, but I can't remember it right now. But I do want to see what if she was on here somewhere else where she talked about the kid she called Angel, and how she rescued it. There she is again. Here's another one. Is that the full interview? Let's see what this one is. That's who we're going over, by the way. The Madison Marquette. Madison Marquette.
Hello and welcome. This is a Great British Bird podcast, and today we're good. I'm good. So we're going to get into it. Just a slight warning, this is going to be a hard watch. It's going to be very harrowing, but it's a topic that needs to be addressed because the mainstream media will not go anywhere near it. We're alternative media.
It's a hard watch.
So Madison, you were involved in a major political scandal with two very prominent US officials or politicians, and they don't get much bigger than these guys. Could you explain who they are and what happened?
Surely not.
Sure. So as you said, I was trafficked. I'm a survivor of it. Everyone keeps saying to stop saying survivor, say I'm a warrior, whatever. So I was trafficked through the adult film industry, the porn industry here. And I was owned by a man named Derek Hayes of LA Direct Models. He trafficked me through the elite of Hollywood and global politicians, including George Soros and Joe Biden. So those are two of the big ones. I've spoken out against other actors, but we're talking about the politicians here. So we'll just focus on those at this point in time.
So anyway, so you were involved in a tribunal. And could you talk a little bit about that? Because apparently that was in the White House, was it not?
This crazy bitch claims that she goes to the White House. I'm going to have to delete that bot or whatever. That she goes to the White House and testifies on White House tribunals.
I can't say the location of where I was because I'm under a gag order, but...
You already told them.
Yes, I did get subpoenaed to go testify in these tribunals. I testified over 100 times against the elite and globalists. Some I've spoken out against, some again I can't speak of because I'm under a gag order, and there still are arrests that are happening at this point in time. So yes, what do you want to know?
Okay, just tell me a little bit about the tribunal. Well, what you can, what it involved in. You know, who was there and what your role was exactly.
Sure. So I actually got, so I'm suing my traffickers. I had filed lawsuits against my traffickers. So I have an attorney. My attorney had called me and said, you got a subpoena, but we need to meet. So I didn't know what that meant. So like, okay. So I went and met with her, and she's like, this is not your normal subpoena. It's a military subpoena. I'm like, what? I don't understand. She's like, well, this is you have to go testify in a military court. And I said, I don't understand. I'm not military. Why would I have to do that? I was very confused, right, of why I'm going to go testify. She said, well, because your evidence and things have gone into court, you need to go testify in their criminal case, and they've been arrested by the military, or they're under trial in the military. So I go, okay, I will go. And at first I didn't want to, because again, I'm putting myself at risk.
I just have a hard time believing her. I don't know about you guys, but come on now.
So I said, fine, I'm going to go. I went a couple times. I mean, I was going back and forth to DC multiple times. I'm like, listen, I just need to go where I do bust out all the tribunals at once, because this is
I want to hear about her harrowing rescue right here.
Kids and like, let's go. So I went out, testified over 100 times against multiple people, one of which who was Joe Biden. He was the very last person that I testified against. You know, it's hard to make, like, let me just say this before I kind of get into all of it, is going and making that choice wasn't a choice about me. I've forgiven my traffickers. I've forgiven what has happened to me. But this to me I either serve my country and love my country so much that I'm going to go sit on a stand and put myself at risk so my children and my children's children can have a better future. And so to me, it was a calling that I had to go do, as hard as it was. So when we did the tribunals, and Claire and I had talked about this a couple times, Joe Biden was there.
You get the feeling she likes to hear herself talk.
Well, Joe Biden, right, was there.
Mm-hmm.
And
Joe Biden, not the real deal.
A lot. I'm not an emotional person.
Me and Mike and Doug all know that.
At the borders and whatever yesterday or a few days ago with Claire, but Joe, they kept saying identify who he is, but how do you identify someone in a courtroom when it's not, that's not him? Like, you seem like you're going crazy, even though you're not crazy. So you're like, okay, I can't point at him. I can't say that that's him, because then I'm creating a treasonous act against the country.
So basically what she's saying is she went to this tribunal to testify. While there, they brought in Joe Biden, and said, do you see your accuser in this courtroom? Could you point him out? And she doesn't want to point at clone Joe Biden because her attacker was actually real Joe Biden. She doesn't want to perjure herself by, pointing at an identical clone.
Because I can't identify. So I said to my attorney, I'm not going to identify him, but he is guilty. So what they did is, because I do have evidence of all my rapes and torture, and when I speak out, I don't speak out against anyone. I don't have actual physical evidence I don't have any evidence on me whatsoever. All that evidence is across the world and across to different people. But in the court, I said, in the videos, this is who that is, because I wasn't going to identify a man sitting there that looked like him but wasn't him. Then you feel like you're kind of like going a little bit cuckoo, right? You want to ask me?
Let's just ask you about that, because the Biden that we see, we all suspect is wearing a mask and it's an actor. But the Biden that we see, we're seeing on television or on our phones or whatever. So you can have all sorts of CGI and you can have, special effects. But you sat there and looked at that man in the eye. What did that person look like? Did it look like they were wearing a mask? How false or fake or how
pretty bad. If she can tell it's a mask, everybody can tell it's a mask, wouldn't you think?
Real did it look?
It looked very real, but
I could tell.
He was also like, there are protection orders for any witnesses, right? So I wasn't too close to him. He was in the room. He looked like what we're seeing on the.
Oh, see you, Delcroix.
He looked like that. I know it was a person because they walked.
Thank you for the dono, even though I missed it.
But if you look at like Joe Biden,
the alert, I just saw it. The alert didn't work.
It's a completely different person. The even when you get older. Yeah, right. Like, even when you get older, your face still looks like your face. This Joe Biden doesn't look like.
And your eyes will always look like your eyes, and his eyes are nothing like his eyes.
Exactly. And he's like the one that we the Joe Biden before, I believe, and I might get this mixed up, but one was right-handed, the other one is left-handed, and they're signing with different. This Joe Biden is not like, he's signing his executive orders with a different hand than what he did, and he's not, he doesn't never written with both hands, so it's confusing. Like, who you're like, for me, I'm sitting there. Do you know how crazy I felt at that moment? Like, you're wanting me to point at this person and it's not him. And then I didn't understand, and I don't know if that's because they're going to do the EVS and everything, and that these tribunals are going to be televised or what. I don't know if it was like to show that there was, like, for people that aren't awake yet, to show that this person was arrested, or that a person was arrested. But to me, if I pointed to him, I don't know what they're going to do to that person sitting there. Like, are they going to harm that person, or is this just like a show? I know the tribunals weren't a show, but for that particular, does that make sense?
It does.
The tribunals can't be a show if they're not real, I don't think.
Did he look you in the eye?
So I don't look them in the eye. For me, I don't want to look at them. So it's just a defense mechanism for me. I saw him.
Sure.
But they said, when other people that I had to point to, I looked very quickly, pointed, and I don't engage, because they don't have any more power over me. And by having any type of eye contact or anything like that gives them a power over me. And I control that. It's something that I can control. And so I mean, if he was looking at me in the eye, I couldn't answer that question.
And how were you feeling at the time when he came in and you sat there and you knew he was in, this version was there? How were you? What was going through your mind?
At this point, I was so exhausted. I had testified.
So exhausted just from testifying.
You got to remember, I'm seeing these videos and pictures and everything. Nothing that I haven't looked at this. This is the first time I'm seeing this stuff so I was trafficked for almost a decade. It's been about 12 years since I've been out. So seeing all of that was traumatizing in itself and triggering. And so when he came out, it was that's where I couldn't finish the testimony. We had to go into the next day because I felt confusion, anger. I knew it was almost done. There was like a sigh of relief. There was a lot of emotions that are going through me because I know he's the last one. And it's just like, okay, is this the moment after I'm done testifying that I get my justice? Because I've been called a liar. I've been called hateful. I'm trying to ruin people's lives, all this stuff. But it's like, is this the moment? Like, once this is done, will I get justice? I think that was like the main thing. And that's why one of the reasons too, when he walked out and he wasn't himself, I couldn't finish my testimony because I'm like, is this done? Like, is this the weight that's going to be lifted?
She couldn't finish her testimony.
Hopefully it makes sense.
Why?
From a survivor, you're like this.
Just caught off guard by the clones that you've known about for 50 years.
I'm here, I'm seeing it, but I need it to be true. I don't want this to be a show. I need it to be true, if that makes sense.
Now, could you, military tribunals are different to normal sort of court cases. Was everyone there military, all in uniforms? Were there any civilians there at all?
The only civilians that I saw were my attorney and myself. And then I do have other friends that have testified, but they were not in the room. So the only civilians there were us, and we were escorted by military. When I went out and flew out there, I was escorted on a military plane. Everything was through the military, through the US
military.
If there were other, special operations or anything, I couldn't tell you that. I'm sure they wouldn't be able to tell me that.
So how did it go? I mean, were you happy's probably not the word to use, but were you pleased with how the tribunal went? Are you feeling that you're going to get some justice?
I do think, I know I'm going to get justice. I know I'm going to get justice. I believe it. I mean, I've seen certain things. I know that there is someone very up high now who will call me and tell me this is happening. I think that they do that because I'm also very vocal about what has gone on. And
very vocal
towards me is extremely high because bank accounts have been frozen.
She almost does like a Sasha thing where she overwhelms you with so many words and so much the speech patterns and everything, and just talks around in a circle, and so you fucking give up on even caring what the fuck she's talking about. I checked out 10 minutes ago. So we're only 11 minutes into the video.
George Soros. I mean, these people's accounts, this isn't just like chump change. This is billions of dollars, and their livelihood is all frozen because I decided to stand up and say, fuck you.
Yeah.
I mean, really, I'm gonna stand up and say this isn't okay. Because if I don't stand up and I don't testify, what if someone else didn't? Then they get away with it. Then they lose their crimes. So
what exactly did Joe Biden and George Soros do to you and others?
I mean, I'm not going to talk about what they did to others when they were with me, because I just don't think that's fair to them, because if they're not speaking out. But as far as me, I mean, I was trafficked. I mean, they raped me, they beat me, they tortured me. I mean, and again, I was trafficked for almost a decade. So, I mean, I was chained to beds, I was chained to walls. I mean, I was chained to concrete floors.
I was chained to that meth pipe that Mike was chained to the other night.
Of different things that they did, that 1%.
This lady's, it's crazy.
I don't even talk about, because I don't think that people would even can comprehend that someone can go through that. The fact that I'm sitting here in front of you, I should be dead. Like there is no reason why I should be sitting here and talking to you and Claire. Like there's just none. That is why I believe in God and a higher being, because of everything that happened to me. I'm like, no one can survive that without a higher.
God gave me this gift,
which to me is Jesus. You know what I mean? To survive it.
Now, you said that you were trafficked for 10 years. Was there any time period within that 10 years?
The 10 years was just made up.
Escape or anything like that? You were recaptured? Did anything like that happen at all?
No. So when I tell my story, so I had originally got into the porn industry on my own and was getting paid and doing it. And then I had freaked out on one of the sets, like just crazy freaked out, like a crazy person. I was like, I can't do this. And so the producer on the set called Derek, who owned me, and said, she's like freaking out, like won't do it. Derek got on the phone. He had a list of my friends, my family, everyone I loved and cared about. And it's like, you're going to do this, basically threatening them. So you have like your porned out makeup, like fake eyelashes, just.
Derek called and threatened her friends and family to get. You know how many people there are dying to just sign up and do porn that are young or blonde or have tits or whatever you had going for you? Tons of people. They didn't need you and the threat of your family to keep you going. They just be like, bye. We can have a younger, nicer model in here in 5 minutes. Good luck.
Everything, just porned out makeup. And I'm crying, and I said to the producer, fine, I'll do it. Can I just get myself together? He said, no, I'm going to film it as a rape scene. So then they filmed it as a gang rape, and I got gang raped on camera. And I was like, okay, I know I need help, so I'm going to go get help. So there was a mega church in California, and I went to that mega church, and I said to the pastor, Mike Erie, I need help. This is what had happened. And, think about it. When you're 18, 19, you're a child. I said this before. I think Claire's probably heard me say this a million times, but you're a child at 18, 19. You don't have any concept, but imagine being that young and gang raped and going to a pastor and say, I was gang raped and this is what happened to me. He's like, I'm going to help you. I'm going to help you. Well, he ended up giving me to Derek. So when you get into the porn industry, you have drivers that drive you around because they want to make sure that you show up to your actual set, because a lot of girls are on drugs or drinking or whatever. So Derek's drivers showed up and then took me to Derek's house.
Oh, sorry.
Derek said, I now own you. So at that point in time, I never tried to escape from at that point on, because I always had someone with me. And it was made very clear that if I tried to, that the people that I loved and cared about, even people that I didn't even really love and care about, that they were threatening, I just was like, I have to stay here, because I don't even think it's going to be me that's hurt. It's going to be them that's hurt. So, and you also get into that Stockholm syndrome where you don't think about leaving because you're under that Stockholm. That's just
umbrella.
Your life. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Sure. Mm. So, I mean, the phrase.
So she fell in love with Eddie. Is what she's trying to say, the Stockholm syndrome.
It's multifaceted. So, I mean, this is a question to both you and Claire, because Claire, you're fighting it this side of the pond and your expertise is the culprit. Yes.
My expertise I got into this because I started pulling people off the streets and realised there was a lot going on with paedophilia and trafficking and stuff, and people being used, like kids in homes being used from Wednesday till Sunday. They'd be smacked off the head on gear, and then they'd be brought back Monday. So they were classed as.
Wait. They'd be smacked up on gear. Does that mean they're using drugs? Is that what she's saying?
I got into this because I started pulling people off the streets and realised there was a lot going on with paedophilia and trafficking and stuff, and people being used, like kids in homes being used from Wednesday till Sunday. They'd be smacked off the head on gear, and then they'd be brought back Monday. So they were classed as temporary missing from these care homes. So in other words, they're being trafficked, and how they were getting away with it was
on drugs. That's what I thought.
They would be blackmailed by someone in the care home that's saying,
well, thank you.
You go into it, but we'll keep the little brother out. So he's safe. So these kids were going along with it because they had no choice. So I got through with all that shit and then realised what's going on. And then I'm quite good at understanding warfare. I know it sounds crazy, but how to cut someone off at the knees when you feel the easiest way to do it, cut the head of the beast off. So I started researching, and I did a lot of research.
Which one's the head of the beast?
The fact that everything to do with the trafficking is surrounded by all the governments. It all
it's the government. The government.
Everything does.
Governor.
There's always somebody in the top of our governments that's involved with all the trafficking and to do with all the paedophilia. And that's how they all, that's a percentage of them, not all of them, but it's a percentage of them. But basically, if I can tell you the biggest spectrum of what goes on in the world, then you might just get a concept, because it's a bit like Monopoly, but a very vile version of it. Okay, so it's like this. They look at, you've got the superpowers, and they look at a country and then decide which country they can pick on. So, for instance, because if there's some countries on their asses financially, they'll cause a war using religion or something else. Like they did with
it's sad.
Which was obviously planned.
If your country's already poor, we're going to take your lives as well in a war.
As an example, a war will be caused, and through the war, they get ammunition sold. Mineral rights they usually grab or something like that, arms deals, they do all these things and everything, and what's behind it is then they can ship arms, drugs, trafficking, children, everything. Everything's worth money to them. It's a commodity. People, everything, it's human commodity. It's the same all over. So that is basically where we're at, which is the area I've gone down. I've been researching people that have worked in Parliament. I've researched individual lawyers in London, for example. More money, trafficking money, comes through the London Mile than any other country in the world. That's it. And we are the biggest fucking perpetrators of human.
It's hard to believe all your lies and your accent at the same time.
You know, adrenochrome's one thing, but forget that. There's organ harvesting that's going on. I mean, we're talking about.
Let's back up a little bit and see if she's got something else that we want to watch. Oh, I just want to do the Madison Marquette, don't I? Let's see if she spoke with anybody else that's not so annoying or so hard to listen to that just lies about everything else. They picked the wrong girl. Oh, no. Oh no, what is this? Some type of girl power welcome. They're all fucking crazy, but this is, I think, is the ringleader of crazy.
Welcome everybody. I'm so
Yeah, sorry, I know I'm kind of out of it. It hasn't been the greatest day for good news, but we'll get through it.
Excited to be here because it's my Jessie day. She comes to me
Jessie
month, and today is one of those days. But we also have an incredible.
Well, I think it's actually once a month, and if you guys spend enough time together, you'll sync up.
The beautiful Madison Marquette and Claire Hawking O'Kell, who are two of the most badass women in the whole sex trafficking world, in the whole, other than Jessie. I mean, Jessie's been my go-to girl. She's been my dream. She's actually changed my life. Like, I have learned so much from Jessie. And what I have taken from that and converted into a more beautiful relationship with God. How is it that somebody that
more beautiful than ever
upbringing
so beautiful
us how to become closer to God? But she has done that. But Madison's my dream girl of the month because one, you proved out something that everyone has suspected about the tribunals. You've actually firsthand witnessed this. So this was like, oh my gosh, it's really coming true. Like this, made my day. Like, I mean, my heart was soaring. And then I will just mention that I've had a thing against Matthew McConaughey becoming the governor of Texas, and you just confirmed it for me, which I was also very thankful for. And then Claire, if anybody wants to get to know Claire, Claire has been Madison's go-to. She's also her partner in expressing this. Like, she wants to be with, they have such a sisterhood. They have this thing that they've created across the pond, and I'm so excited that Claire is here. But on April 10th, Claire, how she got on my radar, had such an aggravating day with the
How'd you get on there, Claire?
that she pulled over in her car and just went off on all of these people that are perpetrators. And I fell in love with her. So that's how I happened to see the video with Madison. So welcome, everybody. And if any of you have something you'd want to share,
that was a long welcoming.
just go ahead.
How long was that?
All good? Okay.
2 minutes of welcome.
Had an idea because Madison and Claire are going to be on Right on Radio tomorrow, and then on Michael Jaco on Saturday. And so we thought we would make this more of like an introductory to you two. And Jesse wanted to kind of share stories on how you got involved in all this mess. I'm going to let Jesse take it from here.
All right.
Go ahead, Jesse.
Yeah, so I'd love to hear. So, Clara, if you wouldn't mind starting, kind of how did you get involved, and what would you say are the special things that you are at or doing or adding that are combating the trafficking and the stuff going on?
Well, I started in my 30s.
She's built an entire team of special forces, lady. What the fuck have you done?
Doing, it was getting people off the streets that had gone through abuse. And usually drug addiction, heroin or worse. And from that, up until about 3 years ago, that's all that I ever dealt with. And then I noticed that there was quite a lot of problems going in the UK. Where cases were coming to myself. And I had a lady that came out of special forces that was retired that helped me. And she said to me that she would help me with healing with people with issues. And then she introduced me to the fact of satanic abuse. And then from there, all of a sudden, cases started coming out of the woodwork. Literally, it was like all of a sudden somebody had put my light on, which was quite shocking because I'd been an atheist most of my life, and then I've ended up going into. I'm heavily rooted now in Jesus because of the things that I've witnessed. But I feel a bit of a fraud because I wasn't all my life. You know what I mean? It sounds crazy, but it's the only thing that's got me through what I've seen, and I've probably not seen half of the things that from you guys have seen. So from being in the UK, my colleague who had spent the last 3 years working in the military in Iraq had said to me, with her training and her formal abuse training and everything, she would help me with this, set this up. So we went about it, and I met a team of I'll call them an extraction team in the UK that have offered to pledge their allegiance to me if we get the cases together. So I started building cases off an email that I set up, which was a secure email site that went direct to them with the person that I was talking about, so that I would publicise that if anybody's got any cases they want to talk about, they would go and send the information there, which would keep me relatively safe on the individual cases and give the other person safety as well, that they're protected. And then we would look at how we should go forward. The problem is that some of the cases that came about, we hit a brick wall because it involved people in government. So it was like, what do we do with this? Where do we go? And it got to the point that I was quite worried because I'm getting a lot of death threats, and I know that you could say everybody is, but I've got kids in the house and stuff. It's not like I'm in a protected area. And then what happened is recently I met Madison through a colleague, a friend, let's say. Her and I were literally like two peas in a pod. That's the only way I can describe it. We think the same. We can be a bit too mouthy, sorry to say, like that, we're a bit too out there, a bit punchy. But I think if you're going to be involved in this kind of stuff, we're not perfect. and we are a bit punchy, but our heart's in the right place, and we all want to make sure that everybody feels that children have got a safe place to be, and there's always going to be a phone number or an email address that they can ask for help. So I decided, because I was hitting a brick wall with the cases I've got, to put myself in a safer position. So I asked Madison to look with her operations team at my cases. The reason being is I felt that that would give me more safety in the UK, because then it's not just about us. We're dealing with another country, and America is our cousins at the end of the day. And I certainly want Donald Trump as fast as he can get himself over
support our cousins
and get rid of all these idiots.
Well, she's being modest about the death threats. I mean, someone put a coffin at her door, like at her house.
I couldn't believe when she said that.
So that's the most fraudulent death threat I've ever heard in my life. She claims that someone put a tiny coffin and some flowers at her front door. I can't find what I'm looking for on Madison Marquette, but she claims that someone put a tiny coffin and flowers at her door and then ran away.
So that's where, when her and I were talking, it's like we have to partner up. So
The miniature.
interrupt you, Claire. I just think that's such a big
Like a
piece of it,
dollhouse
that
coffin.
that the threat on us is so high at this point, and this is her home where her children are. It's not, it's a huge thing. Go ahead, Claire.
I'd love to bring more of that out after. We'll get into that, I think, because people don't understand the full extent of that. Yeah, that's.
After all this, I was hoping I could connect with you and talk anyway at some point, if that was okay. Because,
definitely.
As I've said to you, you guys are way, way ahead of me. I've come into this 3 years ago, and it was literally falling in it through other forms of abuse that I've helped people. And then, obviously now I'm involved in, there's cases coming from social services and stuff. The cases that I'm seeing, these are cases that have been won, by the way, and the children, they've extracted the kids out again. But like a 12-month-old little baby, a little girl, and a 3.5-year-old brother, both black and blue down there in their private areas. And
in their private areas.
These children. Then she comes from a very normal background, but the daughter.
Like the stuff they say is almost so fucking. It's so fucking graphic and shit. Damn it! Stop it.
Gone to prison through getting mixed up with the wrong kind of people.
I hate that fucking bot. That's the third time I banned it.
To the children and
God damn.
Get the kids. So we've had somebody.
It's so graphic, and I don't know. I think it takes us like kind of a sick, fucked up person to even say the stories they're saying.
Came out of the woodwork.
I know they're fake, but just to make that up in your head and pass it on a live stream, I think it takes a sick, fucked up person.
I'll work undercover for you. And so she's in social services, and she's been now there she's been there for 3 years. So all I've been doing is building what I can build and getting as much intel as I can get, because I know that it's not like Madison, where I'm not being disrespectful, Mads, but you know what's gone on. You've got people around you to protect you now, and nobody knows where you live. Everybody knows where I live. It's all on Company's House and everything. So there's nowhere to go for my kids. It is what it is. So what I want to do is, I know there's a satanic cult that involves.
I keep taking the bot down. I don't know why it keeps coming back or how.
Parliament and a record producer from the BBC.
Mm-hmm.
And one of the guys is also a shipping tycoon. The guys in Parliament, mind you, I will just tell you, I hate to say it, but this is the British phrase, they're bum fodder, they're nothing. They're at the bottom of the pecking order. And so they sent somebody after me to basically threaten me. But it depends on what the level of what you call a threat. I literally got a phone call one day on my mobile, and they said, we know where you are. We are actually riding our bikes.
We know where you are.
The road that they're on, which is like 2 roads up. And I just said,
she doesn't breathe either, but the stuff she's saying is just so fucking graphic and shit.
That's like Jesse. Jesse will chase down somebody and knock on their door and be like, let's have a talk.
Yes.
I love it. Let's rewinding a little bit. How did you know about Madison? How did you know to
I saw a porno once.
Who wanted to help me through Telegram, which was great, because all this blew up all of a sudden. And I'm not involving anyone with money or anything like that. I'm just funding everything myself. I've always funded getting people off the streets myself. I don't have any funding power or anything. It's just me. And this wonderful lady, Jan, came to me and said, I know there's somebody that you need to meet and they need to meet you. And I said, oh, I just don't know anymore with people I can trust, because there's so many people out there that are, I would say, like controlled opposition. They make out that they're wanting to help.
Yeah.
But they're not wanting to help. They're trying
to figure out what else. I found a video one day that somebody was talking about her without her there, and some of the stuff she made up is a person that knew her in her early childhood.
I know it sounds
Talk about Madison.
But I can smell bullshit a mile off now. And so when somebody says something to me, I'm thinking, no, you're full of shit.
I don't know what I did with it.
I just seem to know. And I don't know, he didn't really give me the package everybody else got, because I think I got the angry package. So I'm not sure if he downloaded the right things to me. But what I was going to say is the woman...
Well, to be fair, he gave you that one package, then he really pounded it down with his package.
Who came to me.
He really beat that package in there.
Okay. And Madison did.
It might not have fit when it started, but by the time he left, it was pretty snug.
Didn't know whether she wanted to meet me, because she said, oh, I've just had so many problems with people interviewing me and not being honest about things. Well, then she saw my video and she said, I definitely want to meet Claire. And it was the one with the green hat on that video. And we got talking and we talk, I don't know how many times a day. We're never off the phone from each other. And we really think the same. Neither of us are egotistical, and neither of us have a problem with saying sorry. We both, I feel like I've known her for years. And everything we do, I'll say, what do you think of that? What's your
I'm going to skip ahead some.
What's your take? And I feel really...
my family, and so, but I had
I want to hear her story.
The names in the book, and I did Derek Hayes of LA Direct Models, and so I had written a book after I'd gotten out. I wrote a book in 2014. When I wrote the book, I had changed all the names in the book, and I was like, I got so much hate. And crazy enough, I got more hate from and I call them my biological family because they're not my family. I don't talk to them. They're not around. But I got so much hate on Twitter, Amazon, like reviews, just everything, because I talked about the abuse from my dad and abuse in my family. And so, but I had changed the names, and they said, well, they just went crazy. So then I got scared because it was a trigger for me, and I hadn't been going through therapy and doing everything that I needed to do back then.
You hadn't been doing anything that you needed to do.
Step back, and then right before the scamdemic happened, and because it's a scam, right? It's not. I mean, I believe COVID's real, but it's to control us all. And so right before it happened, God clearly said to me, I had a dream actually, and I have this dream a lot. Was churches that were burning behind me.
She had a dream of churches burning behind her. That is her porn name, the Madison Marquette. Madison Marquette.
And then God said, you need to start naming names, and you need to start telling the world.
Goodreads.com has a review. Okay.
Because people are being
I'll try to find it.
These pastors, these pastors, people are paying money to these celebrities, even the globalists and politicians. It's like God said, I will protect you. You need to name names and start naming names. And I argued with God for a while there. I was like, seriously, God, this cannot be my calling. Like, this is a difficult calling. It's a lonely calling. Please, anything else but that. Like, I'll become a pastor. I'll go missionary, anything but this. And God's like, no, this is your calling. You need to start naming names, and you need to start doing it so people will start listening and waking up. And I really believe that dream, and I don't know, time will tell. I do believe that dream is these mega church pastors, their church is burning behind me. And I think that the ones that really do love the Lord and want to speak up about God, they're going to rise up. And those are going to be the ones that are the prophets that are telling, God's word and who God really is. So that's a very short version of how, I got involved. And obviously people come for me. I mean, I'm on the Antifa and BLM's top hit list. I mean, maybe one day we should do a show about you're on their list too. Yeah. Maybe we should do a show of reading. I mean, now I'm like,
excuse me, why am I not on the list?
You're about to be.
Oh, okay, that couldn't have worked.
You guys I want to be on it. I don't
I'll give them your email. I'll give them your email. Okay, I'll reply.
I call them all my special people. It's like they're my special fans.
Seriously. I mean, we should do like a wine night, right? We drink wine and we just read all their death threats, because sometimes they're just comical. I mean,
oh my gosh, yes. Well, we had stuff like they'd come to our house, like, they'd sit in front of our house. Like there's different levels, like,
She's, I don't know. I about said something really mean, sexist, but I'll let it go this time.
Show up at your work. You know, I'd have them come up to my counter and start talking to my manager or, you know, my boss. And then, you know, then you got the ones that sit in front of your house in their car with all the black tinted windows. They won't come out, but you can see they've got binoculars. They're watching you, you know. And for those, I got so tired of those, you know, like even if you went up to the window, they wouldn't roll it down. They would just sit there, right? So finally, I had this great idea, and so I tell all the mothers, you know, who have these car stalkers, I'm like, keep a big batch of buttercream frosting, and you know, you make these cookies and look like you're walking out with a plate of cookies. Just smack it right on their windshield, right on their driver's side window. You know, their auto reaction is to use the window wiper. And then the butter and the water, I mean, it makes a huge mess. And then they have to get out to wipe it off and to be able to drive away. And that's when you take pictures of them. So that's my claim to fame with those guys. And yeah,
I'm gonna go get some buttercream. I don't bake cookies because I have not known how to bake, but I'll go get some buttercream.
So are you guys like the buttercream bitches? Is that what you are?
And I put little notes with mine. The one I put a note to that was like, Santa says you've been naughty. And like,
love it.
If you don't laugh about it, you absolutely will cry. It is insane. And then Madison, yesterday or the day before,
this one we come from. I haven't heard her talk in an hour.
Girl to buy and sell.
Yeah.
And I just absolutely love that. And what's so amazing is, I mean, just look at your composure. Like, you have full power and authority. And then what the beautiful thing is me hearing Claire say, this has brought me to God. Like, how crazy is that? But when you go face to face with this evil, as Jesse knows, that's all it really is a spiritual war. And so for people to really, you know, simplify it down to the easiest and most simple thing. And that's why I really believe that what Jesse's doing with the prayers and the anointing, she's trying to anoint the world with this anointing oil. It's just phenomenal, the territory that's coming back. I have young people calling me that are now like, oh, this crazy stuff you were talking about a year ago, like my friends are talking about it. And so we really have, things are happening.
Yeah. I think one of the big things of that is when, and I'm sure Jessie knows because she's, and I really need to look you up. I actually, someone posted on my Telegram, you and Jeff doing a thing about, I was like, what is this? They're like, go to this, Mark, and they're talking about you.
Is she passively aggressively calling these people out? Hold on just a second. Someone posted on my Telegram, you and Jeff doing a thing about me.
Coming back. I have young people calling me that are now like, oh, this crazy stuff you were talking about a year ago, like my friends are talking about it. And so we really have, things are happening.
Yeah. I think one of the big things of that is when, and I'm sure Jessie knows because she's, and I really need to look you up. I actually, someone posted on my Telegram, you and Jeff doing a thing about me. I was like, what is this? They're like, go to this, Mark, and they're talking about you. But I really think, and I'm sure
you and Jeff doing a thing about me. I was upset. I've tried to find my motor.
So I think the big thing for me is I
been like an extra long.
I didn't want them to have power over me. I actually read, it was after I did the tribunals, I read my letter that my attorney wanted me to write to the court. And it was like, you don't have power over me anymore, but I am going to expose the evil, and I'm going to expose the evil.
I hate that stupid argument, man. It makes me cringe just hearing it.
Longer than almost a decade.
You can't just write the court and say, hey, you don't have power over me anymore, so fuck off.
And not only them, my dad, I mean, I was abused from 5 to, you know, almost 16. And then 2 years later, I'm in the porn industry. And so it's just, you know, 2 decades maybe of abuse. And I had to let
Doug is everywhere. Doug, are you in a chat?
And when you hear me tell my story, I always say the worst like things got for me, or the worst things got, or the abuse or whatever, it's because they saw the light in me. I mean, God's always been with me. Jesus has always been with me. And, you know, I'll preach it to the world. I mean, even to anybody that will listen, because I mean, that's what we're here for, right? Is to bring people to God and the real Jesus, not this twisted Jesus that these mega church pastors, when people say, oh, tithe, I hate that. I'm like, actually, the Bible says, give money to the fatherless, the widows, and the
orphans, the widows,
the orphans.
Yeah.
And so go give to those people. You see a homeless man on the street, go buy him a meal or buy him shoes or a coat or, buy him a hotel for a night. Why do we need to give? Why do we need to give to the churches? And I'm not saying you don't have to give to the churches. I'm not saying all churches are bad, but let's take care of who the Bible tells us to take care of.
Exactly. The people.
Yeah.
Exactly. Humanity.
I think that's it. When the church is taking care of the people, and that money's not going into their pockets, then it's being distributed correctly. But unfortunately, too many are just pocketing it, and the orphans and the widows and those who need it are not getting anything.
Exactly.
Mm.
Exactly.
Yeah.
When I got out of being trafficked, I called anti-trafficking organizations, and then I didn't want to go to any church because I was afraid to. And only reason I went to a church, I don't live in Colorado anymore, but when I lived in Colorado, the only reason I went to the church there is because the guy, Craig Gross, who wrote the foreword for my book, he was known as a porn pastor, and he's like, this church is good, I promise. And they did give back to the people and gave back to me. And there were very select few that helped. And it's like, when you come out of that, you need so much help to become a civilian and live a civilian normal life. Because Jess, you're not a civilian. You're in this world that is not real. It's their reality. Yeah. It's an evil world.
Yeah.
It's an evil world. Yep. So evil. Yep. No. Just pause it again.
Coping mechanisms.
First and foremost is Jesus Christ. When I was going through it, there was nobody that I could tell, and it wasn't because I wasn't trying. I tried to tell pastors, I tried to tell teachers, I tried to tell law enforcement. And unfortunately, the law enforcement would say, if you want to live, just keep your mouth shut, don't say anything. The teachers would say that doesn't exist, or, those people don't exist. And the pastors, who you would think they would believe things about Satan and know that this stuff is happening. And, I would just get the furthest I ever got.
Well, you're also... If you're talking about a pastor, half the time you're talking about his church, his congregation, his fellowship halls where it happened at, how it was auctioned off in his backyard. I don't think they're just going to believe you because you say Satan, especially if you're throwing out wild accusations about them as well.
That was to say my family is in an occult or my family kills babies. End of story.
Sorry,
they wouldn't even say, are you okay? Are you safe? Is something happening at home? There was nothing. It was automatic, shut down the conversation. Several of these people were
right, does it? It doesn't sound right.
It doesn't sound right.
Conversation down. If any child had said that to me, you wouldn't.
Right. I would be like, tell me more. What's going on?
Yeah.
But they didn't. And these were the few who said this to me. They are godly men and really taught me the basics of my faith. But unfortunately, when it came to trying to tell them the truth about my story, they would say to me, stop lying, get real. And so, that's what I would get. And, so it was really hard. I had to live completely two lives. And, the Lord himself is the one who really taught me how to cope and really drew me into his word, drew me into the principles, which I talk about a lot of the spiritual disciplines, because
you're talking to some of the world record setter for Bible reading. Once they get all methed up, they read the Bible cover to cover in about 6 minutes. You don't have to tell them about the Bible. They got it.
That's what the Lord used to counsel me. When I was anxious, he would give me that verse, be anxious for nothing, and make it applicable that, how do I address the anxiety? It's by bringing my requests to God, making them known. So then I would start to, when I'd get anxious, it'd be, okay, why am I anxious? What am I fearful of? Okay, Lord, here's my fear. Can you give me your peace instead? And, as you said, the death threats are real. We'd have times where I didn't get to even sleep normal. For part of my life, we were just 5 minutes away from Circle Sanctuary, which is a witch's grove. So in the evening, all the witches would gather and would chant and, be doing spells and hexes. And I could hear those things all night long, hear their ceremonial singing, things like that. So there was just never a break, or, there never felt like there was a safe sanctuary to go, except for, my bathroom. For whatever home I was in, the bathroom became the sanctuary, where that was where I met with the Lord, and was just in the Word, worshiping.
The bathroom became the sanctuary, and that's where I met with the Lord. Damn, if there wasn't so much stupid filler bullshit surrounding this, it'd be a pretty funny video. I should have went through and picked out some good shit instead of trying to watch it all.
And so I learned to just depend on Him. I did, in my teen years later, got hooked up with the Neil T. Anderson conferences, and he's a counselor that specializes with this satanic ritual abuse. And so I went through his book, The Bondage Breaker with the Lord. And, in there's a process he leads you through. He tells you, all the things that can be access points or gateways to sin. And then you kind of pray through those things. You name names if there were individuals who, introduced you to those things, or people you participated in, like, if it's like the Ouija board or Magic 8 Balls. And you go through the process of then forgiveness, repentance, all of that.
Oh, okay.
Walking through that with the Lord, that was, highly effective. And then, it was pretty much through those things, but the Lord Himself walked me through all of that.
And you guys are both the same in that there was a period of time where you guys sat with what you had, you healed yourselves, whatever you did, and then God said the same thing to both of you, name names.
Yeah.
Oh, did God tell you that, Jess?
Yeah, absolutely. So I was doing chaplain work in the community, with a homeless shelter, and I would do processing classes. So I was on the bus driving to pick up the homeless people with the shelter staff. And as we're driving, the Lord says, out of nowhere, you are going to give your testimony. And I knew He wasn't just saying the light, way milk down water version I've been given my entire life, like the Lord was like, you are going to give your testimony. And I was like, okay, but Lord, they'll kill my children in front of my face. And the Lord,
He doesn't care. You're going to do it.
Like, okay, Lord, I want to do your will, but I'm going to ask for the special hedge of protection over my kids, stuff like that. So I get done praying this.
Of course she healed herself. Well, I don't see how you guys are not keeping up.
And as soon as I'm done, the Lord says, no, you will do it right in front of their faces. And at that moment,
you will do it right in front of my face.
And I had that choice. Like, I had to count the cost. That's the position the Lord put me in, where He was like, there is no promise of protection. There's no promise that you won't see the most horrific stuff happen to your kids. There's no promise you're going to get through this in the end, with this happy family life that you want. Will you pay the price? And it was like, okay, Lord, you're right. There's, I know what the children go through. I know how deep this darkness is. And for even one of them, will I pay the price? And the only answer I could give was, yes, Lord, I will do it.
It's kind of like Abraham, right? God asked him to sacrifice your kids. And I struggled with that as well with my kids. I'm a single mom, and, the threats, I do everything in my power to protect my kids. But I'm also out, Claire and I are out, protecting all these other kids. And so God kept giving me that story, and I'm like, seriously, God, like, okay, fine. I like to argue with God a lot, but when I tell my story, come just as you are, right? That's what God says, come just as you are. And so, I definitely struggled with that. And I feel your healing process, because so many men, this is going to sound like weird or whatever, but so many men are sleeping with them, not sleeping with them, but they're taking that from you. And, I was taught that if once you like they insert themselves inside you, you have all of their spirit. So it took a very long time to get those spirits and demons and everything off of me, out of me, away from me. I mean, it was
off of me, out of me, away from me, not near me. Lots of spirit, 400 million spirits and demons.
How difficult that journey really is, and it's a continuous journey. I mean, it's never gonna stop because we did see horrific stuff, and we are fighting the evil on the front lines, right? The battles. So I definitely feel you on that one.
But you're not victims, though, are you? That's the difference. You're warriors. That's the difference.
Yeah.
You were never going to be victims, both of you. You're warriors. That's why you survived, and that's why you're here telling the story. Because you're the girls that are going to make everybody else realize it doesn't matter what path you chose or what went wrong in your life, or if you went down the wrong road. Even everybody deserves freedom, and they deserve to be themselves in humanity, and no one has the right to do that shit to anybody.
No. Sorry
for swearing.
That's all right. That's the power that packs the punch. No, I'm kidding.
You'll be like, that Brit's on again. Oh God.
Absolutely does. But I do believe, and I'm speaking this aloud, I do believe we are covered. There's something that happens when you're working in dangerous situations. And, you know, I've never been anywhere close to as dangerous as you guys are. But when I worked with the guys out of jail, I was taking them to their homes in bad areas, and absolutely never questioned it. Like I knew that I was going to be okay. Would I go there now? Nope. Wouldn't go there now. I'm not anointed to be there right now. And I do feel there's this strong anointing on every one of you. And I feel, I feel like so sure that you
so crazy. So crazy.
Do you know, what you're saying is crazy, because what I'm saying is amazing, because I've come into Christ a lot later, as in my faith, but I've really pushed myself into it, and I'm fully there now. And I know that every time I've got a problem, I just speak out about it, because I know it'll sort itself out. The answers will come, and I know where it'll be. And the last few days, because there's been a lot of people around me that you can't trust, because when you get to the level where you're trying to help uncover wrongdoings, a lot of people have bed themselves in around you, trying to see what's going on for the wrong people. And I spoke this week a few times and asked, you know, please show the hand the people that I need to push away and bring the ones closer to me. And it's crazy, because all this has come out, and also I've got rid of 2 people off the team that I needed to get rid of. I didn't want
people off the team.
Shown the hand, and they are what they are. So
I need some SCs. Come on over.
Yeah. Well, and it's kind of happened just in general.
Sorry.
With each of us being here today, there is no way that Madison would have read what she read from me and felt comfortable. And
I was going to switch this other clip, this other story here, but I don't.
Spirit that was familiar to her, because I really do feel that that's that piece of knowing God's voice. You know, the shape.
I'm going to finish this, and I'm going to bed. I'm tired as fuck.
Sometimes it comes through in a letter, and sometimes it comes through like when I saw you on April 10th. Like, this girl gets it. You know, the extent that people judge somebody that are in your situations blows my mind. The beauty and the absolute orchestration of just God's song through Jessie has been so powerful to me that when somebody says anything about her, I'm just like, okay, block. You know, I just don't have time for it anymore. And I think that the more we do that as a group, begin to you know, just lovingly, if you can't be nice, you can't be here, period. You know, you're going to have to work your way back in. But what made you decide to
I wish there was an interview, there really was an interview I found earlier that she did with this guy. That was an older interview from just her book. I don't think there was much in it about QFS. There wasn't much in it about all these other grifters. There wasn't stuff in it about that. And I even thought I bookmarked it. What? Oh, did I watch it on my phone? Hold on, that might be. Hold on. You watch this. Hold on.
Me or Claire? Me?
But either one of you, I'm
I just think it felt right for me because I trust Madison completely, and I know she trusts me. And we decided that we would stick together because we knew that for safety, bridging across the pond to each other's family, because we are one family, America, England. And I know that with Donald Trump's help, clearing the UK up, the UK is a wonderful place. So for me, I knew when her and I partnered together, we were keeping ourselves safe and our children safer. But it also meant that when like you guys came out and talked to us, I knew it just felt right because I've been praying that much this recently. I knew that the right people were coming towards me. And I think this is what it is. And I'm not against any guys, by the way, when I say this, but I think this is a woman's war. I just feel we're all there and we're women are fighting this. And I'm not suggesting the guys aren't as well. But I think that, I don't know, there seems to be lots of
the
women
Esther rising. We'll talk about that later. It's the Esther's rising. That's what it is. For me with Claire, so funny enough, a good friend of mine had sent me one of Michael Jaco's messages, and I never check my emails or anything. Like I don't read them. I have someone else because the threat is so high. I just don't read them. I don't want to read them anymore. And so I randomly one night I was like, I'll just go through them tonight, and yours was in there. And then I looked at the videos, but I'm like, what is this? I'm like, there was some brunette girl, and I was like, this girl isn't on any show with this guy. I don't know what this girl's talking about. So I called Claire and we talked about it, and then she's like, just send a message and let's see, you know. And so I sent a message, and then you sent me a legit video, and I was like, okay, they're real. I mean, I had stopped speaking out like with different media and whatever because they twist it. I like spoke out against the masks and someone that I went on their show, and they literally just obliterated me because they were pissed off that I was talking about not wearing a mask. I'm like, seriously, you knew what I stood for prior to this, and now you're mad because you don't like it. Like, get over it. So, and you know what? I do think God gives me the discernment of who to talk to and who not to at this point. That's why I took a step back. And then that's why Claire and I partnered up, because we are, you know,
I think it's so great. I love that you guys are working together. And it's so funny because I was so excited that you replied back to me, because you were like my new MVP as far as for that for that moment. I'm like, oh my gosh, the tribunals exist. I was so excited that I didn't even read the second paragraph.
I don't even know what I wrote.
I work with Claire, you know, and I'm automatically like replying back to you. Like, I'm so thankful. I'm so excited. Thank you so much. And bring Claire if you want.
I don't feel as though compared to you girls, I've got as much to offer as in, you know, what you guys have talked about, but I know I'm a toughie, and I'm not going to let this lie.
And we need people that are watching. I mean, if you were to take even this one or all of Jesse's videos or all of Claire's videos and just get them out there, they can't keep up with all of the words and all the algorithm. There's just not enough people to follow up.
All right, last one. Here we go. Then we're going to bed.
Trying to outsmart them.
Thank you for the support tonight, but I do have one more video and then we'll go to bed. I always get tired as fuck about right now, but I can't never fall asleep. It's not with a dude, but there's a dude on the thumbnail. I think this is it.
Places each time.
Yeah, okay. Check this out.
Global Podcast will expose riveting and emotional real-life stories. You will hear from trafficking survivors and their families, extraction teams, and others from our local and global community who want to educate their communities through real-life story sharing to find their own voice while releasing riveting facets of this worldwide monster. Now, released global host, Cami Bowker.
Hi, welcome. Oh my gosh.
This is a little more structured. There's not just four women screaming at you the whole time. This one does a little bit better, I think.
Good to see you guys. Good to be here today for those of you that are tuning in live. I have a special guest. I'm really excited to introduce to you my new friend, Madison Marquette. She has a story that I want to share with others. The very premise of this podcast is to help raise.
Yeah, so all these people, well, it depends on how you look at it, Crazy Corman. None of these people were really big QAnon people back when like before the election. It's like they all appeared right at the election and after the election, and they claim stuff about Q, but they also claim a bunch of other weird shit. It's very strange.
Growing enterprise on the planet Earth, which is
God damn.
And the only way to do that is to let those that have been forced to be speechless in their lives to no longer be speechless. So that's why I brought you here today. And I'm so thankful. First off, so glad to have you. Thank you for coming in, and thank you for being here.
Of course.
Yeah. So
they all popped up at once.
Give us a little bit about you. Tell us a little bit of your story, and then I just want you to dive in. Feel free to just share with us. But who is Madison?
Sure. So, I kind of now, it's my passion to be a voice for the voiceless. I was trafficked through the adult film industry. People don't realize that the adult film industry is a multi-billion-dollar industry that's connected to trafficking. People think, oh, I'm just looking at porn, but what you're really doing is you're assisting in these traffickers. That's why it's such a multi-billion-dollar industry. And it wasn't, people say, oh, well, you decided to do porn. Well, yes, I decided to do it, but then I was legit trafficked. I was locked in a room. I wasn't able to leave. The only time I was able to leave is if I did privates with the elitists and other people that could pay top dollar for a porn star, or if I was doing the adult films, which, you have a driver that's taking you to these different places each time. You can't leave. You don't have the opportunity to do normal things like grocery shop and sit at a park and eat dinner, have a glass of wine, whatever it is that you like to do. You cannot do that. You are stuck with your trafficker and with these people that are just driving you around to these different parts.
It's interesting because I really find that people have no understanding or very little that pornography would be even connected to human trafficking. People don't realize that. So I'm grateful that you're able to help us with this.
Right. They really don't. And, how many people have just told me, I laughed.
That's right, Lou Baloo.
People were saying, well, you did porn. You chose it. Listen, there's a difference. Yes, people do choose porn, and I know girls that do it and get paid for it, but it's not a normal thing either way for girls to get paid for sex. And on top of it, there's underage pedophilia, trafficking going through the porn industry as well.
Well, of course, underage is always never right. But at the same time, you're coming out here and saying, oh, it's never normal for a woman to get paid for sex. You have a whole group of people screaming, my body, my choice. I should be able to allow you to use it for money and whatever. The safe sex worker movement.
Again, a multi-billion-dollar industry that they're trafficking these girls from. My trafficker, Derek Hayes, he was indicted. And when I started telling my story, I was told, you're a liar. There's no way. Well, if I'm a liar, how years later did my trafficker get indicted? And he was sued by multiple girls for trafficking them. I mean, he has millions and millions of dollars, $1 million homes where he has girls in LA, in Northern California, in Colorado, in Utah. I mean, all across the U.S. That's another stigmatization that trafficking only happens abroad. It happens here in the U.S. And so it is a very sad thing that men and women, and they buy porn or they look at it, they go on Pornhub. It's free on Pornhub. One of my issues too is people are sharing this on Facebook, and their excuse for sharing it is, well, I want to make awareness. What you're doing is, one, you've assisted my traffickers. You've paid Facebook to share it. I mean, it's just, you're assisting in it. Let's stop it. If you want to make a difference, you don't need to change someone's mind that trafficking is real. What you need to do is stand up and make a difference. Mm-hmm. Don't use my pain for your fame. Right. I guess I do see that a lot. Is I worry about survivors getting re-exploited, and I don't think that people understand that and correct me if I'm wrong, it could be different for you, but I think from kind of getting to know you, it's similar to the other survivors I know, is it's a lifelong process to become and feel whole again. It's a day-to-day fight still. So once you change your life or get out of it or however, and I don't even know, maybe you could share with us, how did you get out? How did you, now that I see that you have a life that's not, you now get to probably go to the grocery store. So how did you get to go from, honestly, seeing some of the darkest parts of our society people don't know exist? How did you get out? So I actually was arrested. A police officer, they raided a house in California. I had years prior to getting into trafficking, I was going through a divorce, and I had wrote a bad check. I basically wrote a check from one account to another and took money out. And so there was a warrant out for my arrest. So they raided the house. I got arrested, sat in jail for 74 days. And then at that time, I was like, okay, I'm just going from one prison to another. It's time to die. And that's where I was at. I was going to kill myself. I was going to kill myself in jail. This girl said to me, you're going to get out tomorrow. And I just looked at her and had some few choice names in my head for her and was like, I'm not getting out. And so the next morning I was ready to kill myself. I was thinking of ways to do that. And when I was younger, I did these fashion shows called The Trend from beginning to end. And Crystal Lewis was friends with one of my sisters. And she sang, come just as you are, at these fashion shows. So here I am years later, ready to kill myself. I hear on the TV, come just as you are. And so I got up, walked over to the TV. It was really loud. And it was just, on the TV was Joel Osteen, which I laugh because
my son's running all the time.
God used him, and he said, listen, you're in the darkest
spot you've ever been, you want to kill yourself, like just come just as you are right now, like God will like redeem you. And that's exactly, I just said, okay, fine, Lord, I'm going to give you one more chance, and this is it. You don't get any other chances other than this. And so I did. I got out that night, and
thankfully.
Then, right as I got out, and then a woman that ran these Trend from Beginning to End fashion shows took me into her home and just showed me who God was and who Jesus was. The problem was when I was a kid, Jesus was twisted. It was, if you love Jesus, take off your clothes. And when I got into porn and started being trafficked, it was normal for me for someone to tell them to take off my clothes, which for a young child and have your innocence stolen like that, of course, you have no value. You have no, like, I am pure, I am holy, I am loved, I am God's child, I am his daughter. And so here we are years later where I know that.
She's mentioned very little about Joe Biden and Tom Hanks and all the QAnon bullshit, though.
And I have
weird
a relationship with Jesus and said, okay, my kids just, you know, and it is hard. Porn does follow you around. You know, I'm single. I'm a single mom. I can't date because what happens is people Google it and they say, oh, well, you're a porn star. No, I'm not. I was trafficked. I was beat. I was raped. I was sold without my consent. Stop looking at it and acting like I'm this person. I have tried to start my career that I've been in for 10 years. And without fail, every single job that I have had will Google it. And it doesn't matter how successful I am being, they will find a way to fire me because they don't want to deal with it, because trafficking is a taboo subject that people don't want to touch. People want to talk about it now because they think it's trendy. But when I was being trafficked, let me tell you, it's not trendy. When you're being raped and beaten and insulted, it's not trendy. So that's kind of the short version of my story and how I got out.
Yeah, see, so she's been peddling this story for kind of a while, and it never, until she saw the grift in it. I guess that's what I was trying to point out tonight before I got tired as fuck, started nodding out. But before she saw how valuable it was to be like a QAnon asset, she never fucking brought that part up.
Yeah, no, it's incredible. I really believe that there are, you know, guardian angels that help, and thank heavens you did survive. I mean, I'm sure you've seen people that weren't as lucky. And then when you look at your day-to-day right now, just pieces that you just explained from trying to have a career, people don't understand. This is why my organization partners with Adaptive Obstacles.
That's right. Raped in the asshole is not trendy.
Global Education Philanthropist provides resources, right? Because just strictly funding, just getting someone out is not going to help. I mean, it's going to help for a minute, but we need to do more because you have a constant need, from what it sounds like. So that's what I've kind of found as I've worked globally and domestically, that the need is constant and it's never the same, one size fits all. So one survivor might need attorney fees.
So she went all the way from starting this and trying to write a book. That's her new grift, okay? And maybe it's true that was her original grift, and maybe it's true that she can't find a job, and maybe it's true that nobody wants to date her, and maybe it's true that she's struggling. So she writes a book. The book doesn't do so well. So then she goes on a tour with the book. The tour with the book doesn't do so well. So then she starts accusing fucking famous people to get on all these QAnon shows. Now that starts to pick up some steam. Then she starts claiming that when she starts to lose a little bit of relevance, then she starts claiming that she's going to the White House for tribunals. Oh, I had to testify, I had a subpoena. I testified for 125 hours straight. Joe Biden was in the room, but he wasn't in the room because it was his clone, and I didn't want to perjure myself because some guy would rape me in the asshole, and that's not trendy. Then all of that starts to die off a little bit. Now she's claiming that she works with a team of investigators kicking down fucking doors and rescuing children and beating the shit out of, almost beaten to death, these people who are trafficking children.
Another survivor might need to get her wisdom teeth out. And this is something that I did yesterday.
What is up with that fucking casino thing? You think it's all those people who joined out of there?
I'm so grateful that God preserved you so that now you can be a voice, because there's so many that aren't brave enough to do so. So I'm just grateful for you to share your story. So yesterday when I was talking to you, you were telling me we got pretty bold. And so if you're listening, you have kids in the car, I don't know, I would probably maybe not listen to the rest, because I want you to just maybe share some things that people might not know. We talked about certain names, people that you're just kind of mad.
Maybe she does shit on it. I know there's interviews with her with her not sharing it. Now she's going to make me into a liar. But I know there's interviews with her not sharing the names at all, like anybody's name. She just talks about being passed around, blah, 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 and now she's going to make me a liar. I found the wrong fucking video.
I'm frustrated that people are brushing.
I've watched so many fucking videos of this stupid bitch.
Right. So in the porn industry, another thing is people don't think it's just you're doing porn and it's put on Pornhub and all these other sites and Vivid and Hustler and Playboy. That's not what it is. Is you're being bought and sold by the elitist of LA.
She is going to use the name.
I don't know if people know this, and I don't have her name off the top of my head, but there was also
she might not use Joe Biden, and Joe Biden, she said, was her main one. I can't remember. She said Tom Hanks.
Another girl that was accusing Tom Hanks and she ended up dead. She accused her father of selling her to Tom Hanks while she was a child. I was bought and sold by him. There was a mega church pastor in California.
I've heard that one.
He's no longer the mega church pastor, but his name was Mike Erie. I was being trafficked through this church, through the Shark Club that they do overflow services for. Jeremy Piven from Entourage. You know, there are many celebrities. I had politicians that were buying me. I had recently, someone sent me this YouTube video and I started to watch it and I started to have a panic attack and I had to call my therapist and I was like, this person bought me. Like, this person bought me and sold me and I have not seen his face. And it's years later. It was George Soros. I didn't even know who George Soros was. You're sending me a YouTube video and I'm freaking out because this person raped me over and over and over again. There's just so many. There was police officers, head of the police. You know, when I did get arrested,
No Joe Biden.
I was raped in the jail every night.
You think you would mention the if it was that big a deal? You think back in April you would mention the current sitting president?
A police officer because he knew who I was. Now I'm not saying police officers are bad because I think in everything there's good and bad. The same with celebrities.
I swear there was one where she didn't mention any. I thought I had found the right one, but I've watched so many fucking. Damn.
And these are mega people, and they are worth billions of dollars. I'm not dumb to think that my safety is not at risk by speaking out, but I'm done being silenced. I mean, you chained me up, put it on.
Yeah, she didn't mention Joe Biden. I think that's a huge thing. If either the current Democratic candidate for president or the current sitting president was one of your traffickers, you think that would be the first name you're going to drop, not Tom Hanks.
And a twisted sex for me, twisted what love was, all of this, so you can get your rocks off. And it's crazy to me. You know, and that happens now. You know, Tom Hanks, like that was someone that I watched as a kid.
I saw a guy on TV. I didn't know who he was. Then I had to call my therapist. And I'm like, who is this guy? She said, that's George Soros.
You watch Big and you see this man watching. My first interaction with this man was him punching me in the face. That was my first interaction. But you see this man that's like, you think he's a celebrity and you're like, oh, he's good. No, he's not. He's dark and twisted and horrible. And I don't even know what words I can like say of my feelings towards them. I can tell you I have forgiven because God's given that to me because I don't.
The original video. I wonder when it come out.
Though that I will not stop speaking up. They have to be stopped.
Damn, it ain't gonna tell me.
Praying that more people come forward because I know they're there. I know some girls that are afraid to come forward. And they're afraid for many reasons. I get threatened from the district attorneys here on a daily basis. I get threatened by different people. On a weekly basis. Threatened by other high-profile people because they don't want me to speak out. They're afraid because they know it's the truth.
Yep, and the light ends up winning in the end.
Yep. Yeah.
So you're just starting to shine a light, and I'm so grateful for that. And I was thinking, you know, when people watch porn, they don't understand that they're watching rape videos. And, you know, you're probably made to look like you were forced to probably look like you enjoyed it. Otherwise, what happens, right? You don't. What happens if you can't mess it up, right? They make you look like you enjoy it, or you're supposed to, right?
Well, they make it look like that, but sometimes they do film it as rape scenes, and that's out there. It's like, I'm going to film it as a rape scene because it's what people want to see. They want to see that gory. But what I always tell people, if you're addicted to porn or you're looking at it, just look at the girl's eyes. You can look at anyone.
Oh, I see what happened. Episode 11 was literally pulled down in light of facts that came out after the interview had premiered and stories that had changed. Episode 11 with Madison Marquette was pulled down in light of new evidence and stories that had changed. I wonder what those were.
One's eyes now or in porn, and you can see that they don't want to be there, that they're hurting. I don't think that I have, I don't watch porn, but I don't think I've ever seen when I was on a set a girl that wanted to be there. I didn't want to be there. And you just look at their eyes. It's death. It's sadness. It's, they're drugging you up as well. So you comply to what they want. You don't even know what they're giving you. They're just shooting you up. And I'm not saying they're giving you heroin because I don't, no, it was like in your butt. Like, let me make you comply. Or they gave you a drink and you comply and do what you want me to do.
Mm-hmm.
So
and then when people, like you said, when people go on and watch porn on Pornhub, you're just like you're watching a rape video again and again and again. And sometimes the victims are underage, but they look like the girl could look like an adult. Have you ever seen, you touched briefly on it, the underage side of this whole monster as well?
Yeah. So yes, recently a girl just committed suicide. If you look at the article, and I posted it on my Facebook, if you look at the article, if you do the math, she was underage when she was doing porn. I also did another post on how many girls committed suicide or died of a drug overdose when they were doing porn. They were all underage. And this was just like a short research.
All of them.
Of girls that
Every one of them's underage.
14,
it's crazy.
15, 16 years old being trafficked through the porn industry. Derek was trafficking young child through the porn industry. The fact that he wasn't indicted on trafficking children is crazy to me. But again, you're watching these young girls. I mean, they have it out there. When I was in porn, I was of age, but they were saying, say you're 17, say you're underage, because that's what people want. And that's what people are looking at, which is disgusting. You're raping our children. You're putting it out there. I was a child at 18, 19. I don't even think, why should an 18-year-old girl be able to consent to porn, but she can't drink alcohol? It is just twisted. It's crazy. And so, yes, it is.
So some of the comments, so this is Abdel, it says April 20th, 2021. This was actually this video, episode 11. This video was actually, or episode 11. So she was on episode, hold on, I'm sorry. I got confused with the numbers. Let me see where that comment just went. She was on episode 11 with Madison Marquette. There was this is only a partial interview. It's an hour-long show. The first part on it was with someone else who studied like the relationship between AI and what your kids are seeing online, and if it has anything to do with sex trafficking. So this is only a partial episode with her. But she was on, and they pulled it down. But it was posted on April 20th of 2020. So it was posted a year ago. So at that time, you would have had Democratic candidate Joe Biden. Still worthy of mentioning. He may be president of the United States. That's the time to bring that shit up, right? Not after the election, after these fucking grifters blow up, and just because you go on Charlie Ward's show. You know what I mean? Or just because you find the Great British Bird. She would have kept her story the same. She would have kept the people that she's accusing the same. Maybe not all of them. Sometimes you might remember somebody else or blah, blah, blah. Not the fucking guy that's on the news every fucking night. You probably would have remembered him.
A lot of underage.
Yeah,
in the porn industry.
And they have makeup and hair, and you just, they look at whatever age they have to look. Also, one facet that I've kind of researched and is with...
I make Mariah pretend like she's negative 6 months in the womb. Just a little embryo, like a little jellyfish. Just role playing.
Used to groom kids that are not sure what to do with their next client. The traffickers just having them watch porn all the time. Is that something that you witnessed too, or?
You know, I didn't witness that, but I was also being sold. I mean, I was doing 3 to 4 videos in the day and being sold to 2 to 3 people at night, or I was with one person for weeks at a time. So I never had to watch it, but I do know that happens. It's something that I have heard from girls that, one, were underage and are now out of it and are survivors and have gotten help, or girls that are still in it, that they are frustrated because they may be choosing to do porn, but they don't want the young girls to be in it as either.
Yeah, and I have recently found out that people can just upload videos to Pornhub. Just underage.
I try to have her pretend like she's negative 9 months, like she is literally still in her father's testicles, a twinkle in his eye, if you will. You talk about some good role playing.
Kids, and they don't. People don't understand what you're looking at when you start looking at pornography. How damaging it is. I mean, it's very addictive, and you're watching people that are. Literally.
Now her story is one of her biggest traffickers was Joe Biden. She had to go testify against him, and that she wound up with him like 9 times. It seemed like her words are. It seemed like every time I got sold, it was just like I don't know if he was selling me and buying me back, or maybe he was just renting me out. I always ended up back with Joe Biden and Mike Pence, by the way.
Cameras aren't rolling, like you mentioned, chained to a bed. Like, what is an average day in the life? What was a day in your life like? What would it look like?
I mean, it was, you're locked in a room. The lock was on the other side of the door. You're barely getting fed. And if you are getting fed, you're not really wanting to eat because you're just so disgusted with what's happening to you that you just physically and mentally cannot eat. Then they say, okay, well, we're going to take you to the porn site. We're going to get your makeup done. We're going to get you like your tanning done. You're going to do your shoot. Then you're going to go to the next shoot. And then maybe at nighttime, you're going to do a private with, let's say, one of these celebrities, Tom Hanks, Jeremy Piven, megachurch pastor Mike Erie. And then you're staying with them. And then they're doing whatever their sick, twisted fantasy is to you, which is usually torture. And then you go back, and then sometimes they'll say, okay, well, you're too bruised up to do porn, so we're going to let you rest for a couple days until your bruises fade and we can put makeup on it. And then it's like the cycle just starts all over again. And that's the day in the life.
Yeah, and the torture piece. I don't think the mainstream public, I mean, I know that there is a violent aspect to pornography, but for some reason, some twisted reason, the torture piece is just unfathomable to me that there's violence involved. I'm so sorry.
Well, there's people don't know this. In Southern California, there is kink.com or kink or whatever, and it is a mega
Stop clicking that.
where the torture happens. I have known girls that have died there, and they just sweep it under the rug because people aren't looking for them for whatever reason. And again, it's a huge warehouse, but people, the feds and everyone else, you just ignore it. Died there in it, and they just sweep it under the rug because people I was tortured. Aren't looking for them. Going on a plane, I have a huge problem right now with the mask mandate. And kids, guess what? My face was covered when I traveled. They didn't know who I was because they didn't want people to recognize me. And so when I traveled over state lines or from Los Angeles to Northern California, my face and everything is covered. Let me go torture you and rape you and beat you at this kink warehouse. And no one knows because it's a warehouse. It looks like an abandoned building, but it's a huge warehouse where they're torturing you, waterboarding you, chaining you like a dog. I mean, it's disgusting. It's crazy.
And then people come in there to like experience this?
Yep.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. It's people don't realize, again, it's just so connected, and the torture aspect of it, doing porn or being trafficked isn't, oh, you're just having sex. It is that these people are sick and they're twisted and they have no moral compass. And so beating you, raping you, sodomizing you, this is something that is on a daily basis that they don't care. And they pay thousands and thousands and thousands and thousands of dollars to do it at the hand of me, other girls in porn, even men. I mean, I know one guy that was in porn that they made him get plastic surgery over and over again because they didn't like how he looked and they trafficked him through it. It's kids. It's all at the expense of these sick, disgusting people, pedophiles, and just horrible people.
And they get started down this path usually by starting just looking at porn, right? And the brain starts to change. And then you see that meter go from, okay,
damn it, Becky Thompson. Tompkins. I saw that comment. I didn't think it was bad.
I started with porn years ago, and then I decided to get a prostitute. She was overage. And then I decided to try a younger one and a younger one and a younger one. And then I decided to fly to Thailand and have a 12-year-old for the weekend. And then that wasn't enough. And then I tried a 9-year-old boy. It just goes. And then I'm imagining possibly somewhere in that range of things going from a normal average everyday person to trickling in porn, and then going that meter from what I've seen personally to watch different cases is it goes kind of faster than you might think. All of a sudden it just something switches and it gets really dark really fast.
It does. It goes downhill very quickly. And it is. People start watching it and they get twisted because they think this is normal. They think that this twisted thing that they see is normal, and it's not. What they're seeing is not normal, and they want it. And so they go and find it and pay for it.
So what can we tell people that are listening? We just have a couple minutes left. What can we tell
Joe Biden
as they leave here? Give us some advice and some action steps.
So one, if you're addicted to porn, get help. Craig Gross did a oh my God, I'm sorry. They did a software where you can, if you need an accountability partner, so get one of those instead of watching it if you're addicted to it. Watch your children, talk to your children about it because this is a real thing. Stop telling your children that their vagina and penis are a cookie and a whatever. Teach them the real name so they don't become victims of it, and be aware. And if you want to make a difference, stop treating this like a trend. Take action. Stop saying, oh, I want to post this. I want to do this. Get off being a keyboard warrior and get up and do something. Let's just take action, please.
Thank you so much. I always tell people, you know more, now you have to do more. Yeah. And how can people find you and follow up?
I think everybody that a lot of those subs that had like weird names are now casino bots.
Do not send me a friend request. So Madison is MadySonMarquette. Or they can follow me at thecrazytrain.org because frankly, this is crazy and we all need to know it's a crazy train. So
I love it. Thecrazytrain.org. That's perfect. In our organization, we collect resources for survivors. So if you want to collect anything, even if Madison's in need and she needs something, go to globalep.org, sign up to be a volunteer, and we'd love to help you with anything that you need. Thanks for listening. We are out. Release Global. Look us up.
What happened at the very end? Hold on.
Thanks for listening. Collect resources for on the socials, on the handles. How do we find you?
So they can follow me on Facebook, Madison Marquette. Just follow me. Please do not send me a friend request. So Madison is MadySonMarquette. Or they can follow me at thecrazytrain.org because frankly, this is crazy and we all need to know it's a crazy train. So
I love it. Thecrazytrain.org. That's perfect. In our organization, we collect resources for survivors. So if you want to collect anything, even if Madison's in need and she needs something, go to globalep.org, sign up to be a volunteer, and we'd love to help you with anything that you need.
Oh, she froze that at the end. Okay.
We are out. Release Global. Look us up.
So basically, it looks like even her website, thecrazytrain.org, is basically like it's a bunch of her headshots and her dressed up in different outfits and almost like playing different roles. Okay, it looks like she was trying very, very, very hard to get an acting role. and it wasn't working out for her. And then the very last thing she added on her website is if you go all the way over to the right, okay, hold on, I'll pull it over and show you. If you find the menu, basically, welcome to Madison, one badass woman who decided to fight injustice one at a time, starting with her own, okay? And if you scroll down, you get all these headshots like, please make me an actress. I want to be an actress so bad. Will someone hire me? I wish I was an actress. Look at all these different roles I could play. I wrote a book, blah, 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 all that shit. Then you got her story, the survivor, the fighter. Madison will not be silenced. She's going to stand up and blah, blah, blah. And you get Madison's voice, which is a little synopsis of what she's got going on. It says Madison's voice, but it's got several quotes by Martin Luther King Jr. for some reason in it, which is actually not her voice. You got ways for the media to interview her or reach out to her, which there's only one video here, the Yank and the Great British Bird. Only one video on all these media interviews. And then if you go all the way over here to more, you get book. And if you click it, you got book. I'd say this more just used to say book, and you can donate. And then if you go just below book, you get Yank and British Bird. And if you get that, then we got, the Great British Turd. We've got Charlie Ward, Claire Hawking O'Kell, the Great British Turd, Charlie Ward, Danielle Burnett, and then for some reason, Pitbull. I'm yelling timber, it's going down. This shit's for real. I can't remember how it goes. But, yeah, you get timber for Pitbull. So I think she was trying really, 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 really hard to do this and be an actress. Because she said she's trained for this career her whole life and she can't get a job in it. And she was trying really, really hard. So she thought the book might help. She thought that the story might help. She thought of that. When it doesn't, and there's nowhere left, where's she left to act? Where does she left to act? With Charlie Ward. That's where she's left to act. With the Great British Turd. That's where she's left to act. I think that's exactly what happened. I know it's kind of a boring show, and she's not the most interesting person to cover, but thank you guys for hanging out the whole time. Thank you for the donations. We just had like 1 or 2, but I appreciate it. For some reason, Stream Elements is being really weird. Let's see. I know we had one from... Damn it, they left earlier. What are their names? It doesn't matter. They already left. We had one from there, and then I don't think... We had Joel on the coffee. And I think that was about it. We had Joel from the coffee, and damn it, I can't remember that name, and it's a name I like to say. I'm gonna look now. I feel weird not knowing. So let's go to activity feed, and then let's go. Rachel LaCroix. Rachel LaCroix tipped $10. Thank you very much. I appreciate that, and everybody have a good night. Check out everything. Please keep. I know it's getting annoying, but we might have a bigger issue than I thought I had before. I do. It's the email is coldbeerconfess I'm typing it right now too. gmail.com. coldbeerconfess@gmail.com is the email for the show. And I have Twitter too, Cold Beer Confessional. Make sure you share it. The GoFundMe, I might have a bigger issue than I even thought I had before. It might actually be worse now, which is just what I need. But please share it. Please share it. I'm going to, I'm definitely going to need money at some point. So thank you. Share the GoFundMe if you can. I would appreciate it. And everybody have a good night. I'll let you know what's up tomorrow. I'll do what I can. Have a good night, guys.
Get the place in the best, you know that stage is set. You better buckle up, cause you ain't seen none yet. Here we go, I think I started some shit. Piss them off, it's about to get lit. Get the place in the best, you know that stage is set. You better buckle up, cause you ain't seen none yet. Round 3. Down goes Nino. Please say it isn't so. Got him backed up on the ropes, trying to ram it down his throat. Now things are getting rocking, he was doing so well. It's all over, hands on his shoulders, they ringing his bell. You got Frog News Network doing No damn research, they rework and copy on cocks that came first. Ninth inning, second string, and they acting like they know hitters. Ass on stolen bullshit, shit and runs to the shitter. All this nonsense on my conscience, it's hard to sleep at night. Who the fuck is in my window with this time of the night? These parasites, these leeches, with all their secret meetings, teaching all you fucking cretins about baby-eating heathens. Believing in reasons with no meaning is bullshit. Will Bird motherfuckers out here busting the grifts. Here we go, I think I started some shit. Piss them off, it's about to get lit. Get the place in the bets, you know that stage is set. You better buckle up, cause you ain't seen none yet. Here we go, I think I started some shit. Piss them off, it's about to get lit. Get the place in the bets, you know that stage is set. You better buckle up, cause you ain't seen none yet.
You don't have those guts, cause you're a pussy. You're a pussy wearing aviator glasses in your mother's basement, and I won't even give out your dime store handle, because that's really pathetic. But I can tell you this about if this douchebag happens to see this particular show, you don't have the forking balls to call out the people on this planet by name and tell them exactly who they are and tell them the rest of the world who they are. You don't have the forking balls. You don't have the balls.
Okay, Scott. Here we go, I think I started some shit. Piss them off, it's about to get lit. Get the place in the bets, you know that stage is set. You better buckle up, cause you ain't seen none yet. Here we go, I think I started some shit. Piss them off, it's about to get lit.
God damn stupid fucking bots, dude.
You better buckle up, cause you ain't seen none yet.
Have a good night, everybody.
Well, listen, bitch, I came equipped with a quick wit and a 6th sense for the stupid shit. Where my true believer? Y'all need Jesus. Praise the Lord, head to the extreme. All these false fucking prophets who profit off of gossip. Worshipping drums, cocking, begging for a throat deposit. Swinging fucking meat hammers like Thor in a thong. He's strapped to the shaft, eating his chest like he's King Kong. Starving for attention, I'ma make your gut burst. I'll be your Huckleberry, I can quench that thirst. Baby eating lizard people, alien sex. What's next? Trump in a dress, fucking Flynn on his desk. A retard in a vest, climbing up 5G towers. Cause you told him if he did, he'd get fucking superpowers. Here we go, I think I started some shit. Piss them off, it's about to get lit. Get the place in the bets, you know that stage is set. You better buckle up, cause you ain't seen none yet. Here we go, I think I started some shit. Piss them off, it's about to get lit. Get the place in the bets, you know that stage is set. You better buckle up, cause you ain't seen none yet. I used to find clues too when I was high on shrooms. I found myself a tunnel that led to Jason Q's bedroom. Open his closet, I found some of his meat rockets. I strapped them to my shoes and then I flew through the roof. I found myself in orbit strapped to an F-16. High on amphetamine, with Trump in between. Put on a light coat of baby oil and saluted the troops. He tapped me on the shoulder and said, "This is gonna be it." Whoa, wait. Stop. What?
Oh, thank you, Crazy Corman. I just saw that. If you're still here, thank you.
Dude, come on, seriously. This is my mom's an alcoholic. Oh, give me a... Oh, my God. Damn it. Here we go, I think I started some shit. Piss them off, it's about to get lit. Get the place in the bets, you know that stage is set. You better buckle up, cause you ain't seen none yet. Here we go, I think I started some shit. Piss them off, it's about to get lit. Get the place in the bets, you know that stage is set. You better buckle up, cause you ain't seen none yet. Round 3. Down goes Nino. Please say it isn't so. Got him backed up on the ropes, trying to ram it down his throat. Now things are getting rocking. He was doing so well. It's all over. Hands on his shoulders, they ringing his bell. You got Frog News Network doing no damn research. They rework and copy on first, ninth, and second string, and they acting like they know hitters. Ass on stolen bullshit, shit and runs to the shitter. All this nonsense on my conscience. It's hard to sleep at night. Who the fuck is in my...
Everybody have a good night. I really do appreciate you guys. I'm gonna try to keep up with the show schedule and keep them coming. But I've got some issues coming up too that I didn't expect. So I'll keep in touch. We'll see you guys. Have a good night.